I know men that legitimately will say like, no, man, I really want depth of connection now. And I'm like, then why are you running around with all of these Instagram models? Like, you're driving down the road, you realize you're lost. Don't hit the gas. Stop, look at the map. Figure out where the fuck you went wrong.
I've never seen so many people be so cynical about love. And what's with all the unsolicited relationship advice from all the non-experts on the internet? I want someone who tells me the truth. Like, once a cheater, always a cheater. True or false?
I think, of course, we're all fucking terrified. Loving is like an act of defiance.
So let's be defiant.
I think women were terribly misled in the last 20 years.
I sat down with a divorce lawyer who wrote a book about how to preserve love based on years of litigating divorces and watching relationships crumble. We know what the red flags are. We know how to spot narcissists. We know what we don't like. This is an episode offering hope to those of us who want love. Because what's the alternative? Not having it?
All of these things we're doing, all these walls we're building to keep the pain out, are keeping everything out. They're keeping all the warmth out too. They're keeping all the depth of, like, you have to risk being hurt to love. We all kind of want the same things, but we're all so understandably nervous, and the algorithm is feeding the shit out of that.
Yeah.
So I think the way to fix it is...
This is Beyond the Interview with James Sexton. Beyond the Interview is a show where we delve into topics that help you get ahead. Stuff we should have learned in school, but didn't. I'm using this podcast to interview the smartest, most interesting, most influential thinkers and builders of our time. If you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button now so we can keep all this education free and you can stay up to date. James Sexton, baddest divorce lawyer in the game.
I'll take that. I mean, as long as the bad in the non-pejorative sense. Like, if you're like, ooh, he's kind of a bad divorce lawyer.
No.
Like, no, that's cool.
I meant like
I'm a divorce lawyer baddie.
The baddest.
Wow.
And I think the most honest.
That might be. But being the most honest divorce lawyer is like being the best looking leper or the tallest little person. Like, it's sort of it's like damning with faint praise. But I'll take it. Listen, I'll take it. I'm late middle-aged. I'll take any compliments that get thrown my way from anybody. So.
You know, the first time I saw you, it was on Soft White Underbelly.
That's true for a lot of people.
And when I watched the first 5 minutes, I was early to you. I just want to take that.
You are? Okay.
I was early to you.
Great.
I watched the first 5 minutes of that interview and I was kind of triggered by it.
Mm-hmm. The first 5 minutes should be triggering. Yeah. Because I forgot that the cameras were rolling and just started chatting with Mark, which is what made that interview so powerful, is it was so authentic. But the way Mark does it, I've now recorded with Mark 6 times.
Wow.
So I've kind of come to understand how it works with Mark. But that first time I had no idea like what. We just walked in and sat down and it was like this. I just forgot that there were microphones or cameras. And he's a divorced guy. I'm a divorced guy. And the opening discussion was about, like when we both went through divorce, like how, you get out of a relationship and the first thing you do is you just go out and like just try to like sleep with as many women as you could. And I was just being very honest about that. And he chose to open the interview with that. And I have to tell you, I remember watching the first few minutes of it and going, oh my God, like that is not the way I want to be portrayed. Like I was trying to just, but you know what? It was real. It was honest. So
That's what I'm saying.
I don't hide from it.
It was both real and honest. And I'm the type of person that when I do get triggered by something, I keep going.
Yeah.
I'm not resistant to a different opinion.
I think that differentiates you from a lot of people, and also particularly women. And women in the ecosystem of the varying forms of social media. Like, because I think there are a lot of people that just want to hear people agree with them and they want to defend people's right to agree with them. And when they see something that they disagree with, they're instantly like, this person has nothing of value to say to me. And I like you, I've never been that kind of person. Like I have people I care deeply about and consider friends that I think their views are completely wrong on most things in really profound ways.
Yeah, I think that has to do with the fact that I was kind of like raised by Chris Voss in the past 5 years. Like he was a mentor to me. I worked with him a lot.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is learning how to negotiate and talk to people, and you have to be tolerant.
Yeah.
So,
and you have to be, I think, energetically open to finding a point of connection. I mean, I think what makes Chris such a brilliant speaker, negotiator, I mean, and really he could put that skill set to use at almost anything. Like he could be the best salesman in the history of sales.
Yeah.
If he wanted to be. I think he's applied the skill set to what he wants to apply it to. But he's somebody who has just figured out how to understand someone's energy. And okay, here's what they need from this interaction. And here's what they're trying to accomplish in this interaction. And here's what they need me to be. And here's how they see themselves and what they want to be. And I think it's very similar to the skill set of a trial lawyer. Because a trial lawyer, I've always said, my job is to manipulate people's emotional state.
For sure. And you know what I think you both have in common is you're not really politically or algorithmically programmed. I don't see you as fitting. Like, I can't look at you and tell you where you stand politically. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I could tell you're a critical thinker.
Well, and where I stand politically would be very frustrating to anyone who agrees with most of my views, because I'm not left enough for my left friends and I'm not right enough for my right friends. And I have views that would appear to be contradictory, but I actually see them as an honest union of contrary concepts. Like I think anyone who has too much continuity to their personality is full of shit. Like what they're trying to do is they're trying to fill a mold. Like they're trying to, okay, this is what a person like me should believe. And if I believe this, I should also believe this and also believe this. And I don't know that that's always true. I can have and maybe it's a function of having argued both sides of so many things professionally for 25 years at the highest level, you start to realize that, you know, if only there were these profound truths and that's all it is. But the opposite of a true statement is a false statement, but the opposite of a profound truth is usually a different profound truth. And so you just have to find a way to, like, you know, hold potentially contrary thoughts in your mind. And I don't think it's that hard. I think the world is easier when you treat it like pro wrestling, where there's good guys and bad guys, and it's very defined which is which.
Meaning it's a game.
I mean, I think people prefer simplicity over authenticity.
What do you mean by that?
I think people like simple answers to complicated questions. Like, people don't want to read a book. They want a Rumi poem. Like, they want something that's a meme. Like, they want short little bits of wisdom. They don't want complicated, nuanced thought. They don't want complicated answers to complicated issues. Like, they want incredibly simple answers to complicated issues.
But the truth is, everything's pretty complex.
I mean, I think that human emotional complexity is undeniable. We all, if we're being honest, have in us, you know, the angels of our better nature and the angels of our worse nature. Like, I've represented perpetrators of domestic violence and I've represented victims of domestic violence. I've represented people who are married to someone with a significant substance use disorder, and I've represented people who have significant substance use disorder. And if you spend enough time in the room, like the cheater and the cheated on, and if you spend enough time putting yourself in the head of each of those people, because your job is to advocate for their position and help them be understood, you start to realize that, like, we have in us, all of us, we're capable of atrocity and we're capable of beauty and compassion. And I know that's true of myself. Like, if you judge me as a parent by my greatest moment of parenting, you're giving me too much credit. And if you judge me by my worst, weakest, most impatient moment, you're not giving me enough credit. Same thing in relationship. If you judge me by, like, the most lovely, beautiful gesture that I made in relationship where I was deeply connected and present, or if you judge me at the most buffoonish, awful, selfish thing I did in relationship, like, you're giving me too much or too little credit. The truth is, I'm the aggregate of all of those things when we add it all up. But I think the reason we're so afraid of our opposition in this current climate, like our political opposition or ideological opposition, is we know there are elements of truth to what they're saying. And that makes us wildly uncomfortable. You know? And, like, women know the criticisms men are making of women in the red pill space are accurate. And men know the criticisms women are making about them in the pro-feminist space are to some degree accurate.
Yeah.
Like they're not 100% true and they're not 100% applicable to 100%, but we know, yeah, there's some nuggets of truth there. And that makes us wildly uncomfortable. Like you don't have to be afraid of your opposition.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when AOC says, I hate Donald Trump, it doesn't hurt Donald Trump. Donald Trump's like, yeah. You see, guys, AOC hates me. I must be doing something right. And vice versa. Vice versa. When Trump says, I hate AOC, it's good for AOC's brand. What Trump has to be afraid of are the people in the Republican Party who are critical of Trump. What AOC has to be afraid of are the people in the Democratic Party who go, I don't agree with her view. I think it's too extreme. Like that's your real enemy, is the people in your party who diverge from your point of view.
And who are about to split off and go to the other side because they don't like you.
Potentially. And that's the danger. Well, it's not even that. It's that they demonstrate that you're part of something extreme. And that's the thing. None of us want to acknowledge that the algorithm and the ecosystem of social media and media in general, whether legacy media or new media, is all about amplifying conflict. Because at the end of the day, I genuinely believe like trans people are not as worried about what bathroom they get to use as the ability to make a living wage and have health insurance and live free from being assaulted. And that's the same set of priorities that a truck driver in a MAGA hat has. Like they want to be able to pay their bills, make a living wage, have health insurance, take care. Like, and if we stopped for a second fighting these silly little ideological battles, we would actually realize we have a ton in common. And one of the biggest things we have in common is a common enemy. And that is the people that have told us that we should be fighting all these stupid little battles instead of talking about the real shit that's happening, that's affecting all of us, no matter what side of the political. And we're so busy jumping from one foot to the other that and again, as a lawyer, I do this all the time. Like if my client has fucked up badly and I can't excuse it, I'm going to just throw up as many other things to talk about as humanly possible. And I'm going to just try to go, let's look at this instead of that. Let's look at this instead of that. And before you know it, everybody's just defending themselves and talking about these side issues instead of the real thing I'm trying to get everybody off of.
I love the way you just articulated that. I know you know this, but I talk about this all the time. I think that we are all being rage baited and we should be aware of how our own algorithms are sucking us in to being enraged about a particular set of topics on one side of the aisle or the other, which are not the real things.
Well, and you're absolutely right when you say it's the algorithm, because what the algorithm does is creates an information environment that you are in.
Yeah.
And you perceive to be the world.
And the truth.
And so when you look at someone else and go, how do you not see this? It's everywhere. And the answer is, no, everywhere you look, it's there. It's totally absent from this person's ecosystem. And, you know, a lot of people don't know, my undergraduate degree was in psychology. And I didn't go right to law school. I actually went and got my master's degree and was working on my PhD in a field called media ecology, which is the study of information environments as if they were ecological systems. And this is really before social media. I mean, I got that degree in 1997. So it was before any of these things became what they became. But I realized back then, like, this is World War III is an information war with no division between military and civilian participation. Like World War III is being fought right now all around you, and it's pretending it's not happening. And the way that it's happening is we're trying to capture the attention and focus and minds of everyone out there. And it's by the way, it's working. Like we are more divided than we have ever been as a society. And yet we have more in common than we've ever had in common before. Like we are all struggling with some of the same things. Like we're lonelier than we've ever been. We feel disconnected from any sense of meaning or purpose. We feel like everything is antagonistic to our relationship, our happiness, our ability to have these very basic things. Like, I'm quite a bit older than you, so I have sons in their late 20s, and like the dream of I'm going to own a home when I'm in my 20s. I'm going to get married and be able to have kids and feel like I'm economically secure enough to do that. Like, that is really, really difficult. And yet, what are young men getting barraged with, but like men younger than them, like Jack Doherty, who are driving sports cars that they got because they just walk around pissing people off on camera, and they're multimillionaires as a result of it. So there's this feeling of like, what am I doing wrong? Am I a sucker for trying to follow the old paths? And by the way, you kind of are. Like, it used to be you could get a bachelor's degree and get out and get a good, meaningful job that would be enough money for you to have health insurance and a place to live and save up a little bit to get yourself a house. And if you were financially responsible and you weren't frivolous with your money, that was enough for you to be able to buy a ring and settle down and do the whole thing. That's just not true anymore.
The game has changed.
It's completely changed so that the people at the top could have trillions instead of billions. And I know because I represent them. I represent them in their divorces.
Okay. So what do you say to your sons and to young men who are now navigating this new terrain?
Yeah. I think the first thing is you have to be honest with yourself about what you're looking at. Like I don't think that comfortable lies are the solution. I think uncomfortable truths are the solution. I think the answer is what it's always been, which is you have to do what you can do within the rules of the game you're playing. Like, you're in this system. I think having a defined sense of who you are and what your purpose is the most important thing. I've represented a lot of very rich people. I've been poor, and I've then had money, and now I'm successful and have money. And I will tell you that the money does not solve the problems. Like, my clients have all the same problems. Like, my billionaire clients have all the same problems that my W-2 wage earning clients had 20 years ago.
What are those problems?
Disconnection from the person that they loved most or purported to love the most, feeling like they're not an adequate parent, and in fact, having trouble being a good parent, feeling like their life doesn't have a lot of meaning and purpose, and taking that out on the people around them and themselves, dealing with addiction issues, mental health issues, anxiety, depression, like all the same human problems anybody else has. Like, they're on a private jet having those problems, but they're just, there's more happy people without private jets than there are happy people with private jets. Like, there's a lot, like, happiness is a choice in some ways. Happiness is about having meaning and purpose. And money is not a very satisfying purpose after a while. Like, it just becomes numbers on a page that eventually people realize, like, you can have one really nice watch or 50 really nice watches, but you can only wear one at a time. Like, you can only drive one supercar at a time. Like, so you can have like multiple homes and you can fly between them. And I'm sure that there's probably value to that in some way. But if all of your time is spent trying to amass more and more wealth, A, there will always be someone richer, and B, there will always be someone better looking. Always. Like, always. So if that's the game you're playing a game you can't win.
What's a better game? And how do you play it?
I think a better game is trying to find genuine purpose and meaning in your life. And that's a very individual question. Like, for some people, meaning and purpose is found in family. For some people, it's found in a deep connected relationship. For some people, it's found in feeling like you have a genuine professional purpose that, like, it might be art, creating beautiful art. It might be really the bliss of your work, like finding your work, like getting in that flow state. Like, I happen to very much love the work I do. I will lose track of time, like, doing the work that I do. I'm distracted sometimes by my work the way that some people might be distracted by, like, a lover, who they're like, oh, I'm thinking of this person. Like, I find myself thinking about work in that way. Like, so I think for me, finding your passion and your purpose and then leaning really deeply and unapologetically into it. And I mean, I think fundamentally life is about figuring out who you are. And, John Steinbeck, I think in The Grapes of Wrath, said, I don't love work. I don't know anyone who does, but I love what's in the work, which is the opportunity to figure out who you are.
And are you constantly discovering that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. Like, I love that I'm constantly surprising myself by finding that things that used to fit don't fit me anymore, and things that used to have a lot of meaning to me aren't as meaningful, and accomplishing a goal and then going, oh, okay. Like, I got to the top of that mountain and there's another mountain over there. Like, maybe I want to climb that one. Or maybe you eventually realize like that, you know, you'll never get there. Like, you're always arriving. Like, the horizon is always receding in front of you. And that's part of the meaning of it. I mean, for me, that's what part of the meaning of it is. Like, I think fundamentally we have to have a very deep sense of self and a deep sense of connection to other things. I have that in my life. I've had that in my life for as long as I can remember. I feel very deeply connected to the world. I feel a tremendous connection to other people, to animals, to sort of the broader environment of the world. Like, I think it's because I did psychedelics from a very young age, but I have a deep sense of oneness and connection to the world. And I think if you lack that, your life will be profoundly less joyful.
I agree. You know, I said this before the interview started, but you're very emotional in a healthy way, very spirited, and you own that. You know, I see it in interviews when like you're just not afraid to cry. And by the way, you still come across as like a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, well, I was born a union of very contrary things. My father is a Vietnam veteran and a very like traditional man. He was a worker. He was a tough guy. His hands were like beaten up. Like, he was worked with his hands. And my mother was a nurse and a teacher and a deeply emotional and like, I learned from my mom, like, would listen to a song. She'd be listening to a song and tears would start streaming down her face. And I just grew up thinking like, oh yeah, like if something's so beautiful that it moves you to tears, like just let those tears go. Don't be afraid of that. And my mother was one of the greatest things my mother taught me was that like one of the bravest things a man could be is like deeply emotional. Like, and again, that doesn't make you a pussy. Like I think a warrior in the real sense of the word, like fights because he has love in his heart for the people behind him who he's protecting, not because he has hate in his heart for the person in front of him.
Wow.
Like, and I feel like that, I always wanted to be that kind of man. Like, I wanted to be the kind of man that could handle his shit. Like, whether that was a fight, whether that was an argument, whether that was an obstacle that needed to be overcome. Like, I felt like, no, this is when I feel the most alive, is like when I'm in the fight. Like, I love the fight. I love Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I love, like, from a young age, I loved the fight. Whatever the fight was, in the courtroom, whatever. I love the fight. But I don't think that that's contradictory to like being deeply moved by beauty and by being like soft, in the sense that like I've never let my hardness like take away the part of me that like deeply appreciates love and being loved. And like I feel love very deeply in my heart for my kids, for the people I love, my friends. Like, I'm very quick to tell my friends how much I love them and how important they are to me. And I want to be open. I refuse to let the hardness of the world take from me like the depth of love I can feel. I think that loving is like an act of defiance in some ways.
Yeah.
Like I've said before in interviews, and I think it's something that bears repeating, that like, if you're not scared, it's not brave. Like, it's only brave if you're scared and you do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and like all the heroes I wanted to be, like growing up, all the heroes from literature, all the characters in movies that inspired me, it was always the person who was like, yeah, they're going to go do the thing that needs to be done. Like, maybe they're afraid, like maybe they should be afraid, but they're going to go do what needs to be done, you know, because the people they love are counting on them, and they put themselves like lower than the group, than the collective, or than the people that they love. And to me, that's like the greatest form of embodied masculinity that there is. And I think the fact that we've lost that is a tragedy.
I think so too. I think there's risk and vulnerability, but the other end of it is so beautiful. And I think a lot of us are walking around very guarded. I mean, I would imagine a lot of the people that you work with after the first divorce, second divorce, it's like this bitterness sets in, you have a wall up, you know, do I want to get involved with someone else again? And, you know, I've been there. I've been there as a woman. And of course, when you add to that the algorithms that are telling you like, you know, men are this and women are that, and you can imagine how radicalized people are getting and how much they are guarded. But
I think you have to grieve a relationship. And I think when you get your heart broken, like you have to feel that. And it's really easy to not feel that. It's really easy to go, I don't care. I don't care anyway. I didn't care. It doesn't matter. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. Like, and as a man, like I see how many of my like male friends, like that's when they're sad, it looks like they're pissed off, you know, but actually they're sad. Like they're just sad. But we've created a world where like for a man to go, yeah, I'm just really sad. Like that makes me really sad, that somehow that's a sign of weakness. I don't think it's a sign of weakness. Like I actually think that being able to say, yeah, that makes me profoundly sad. Like I'm profoundly hurt by that. Like it's insane to love anything at all. It's just insane. Like to love anything, you're going to lose it someday. Like whether it's a dog, whether it's another person, like you're going to lose them. So you're a fool to open your heart to anything or anyone. And yet, what would be the point of any of this? To just keep yourself closed off like that? Like the greatest things in the world, the greatest things in your life. If I said to you, what are the greatest moments in your life? They would all be moments where you felt deep love or felt deeply loved. It's true of every single person. Like that's what matters the most, is like the feeling of deep love, even love of yourself, like just feeling love. It's all love. That's all that really matters is love. But when you realize for the first time that love can be taken away from you, nothing hurts worse than that. Like when someone dies who you love, when someone you love says, I don't love you anymore, when someone you love says, I love someone else more than you and I'm leaving now, like that there's no wound greater than that, you know? And of course we're all fucking terrified. Like none of us want to feel that. Like the human desire to avoid pain is way bigger than the human desire to seek pleasure. Like most of what we do to avoid pain. That's why opiates are more popular than cocaine, because we want to avoid pain. Like what are opiates? They're painkillers. We want a cure for pain. Like all this algorithm, all this girl bossing, all this red pill shit, it's just a cure for pain. Like it hurts to be a man right now. It hurts to be a woman right now. Like, and you saying it's really hard to be a woman right now is not saying, and it's easy to be a man. It's not. Me saying, you know, it's really hard to be a man right now. I'm not saying it's not hard to be a woman. I'm sharing with you my pain. I'm sharing with you my challenge. And the answer to that isn't, oh, you think that's hard. You know what it's like to have to worry about getting raped? You know what it's like to have to worry about? The answer to that is, tell me about that. What's it like? I
think we're dealing with a profound lack of empathy and curiosity.
Amen.
Right?
And you know what? Those are two separate and deeply connected things. And it's the first time I've heard someone put them in the same sentence, but you're absolutely right. Like empathy and curiosity is huge. I actually often say to people when we're talking about dating, and they say like, well, what's the like key to dating? I said, be interested and interesting.
Period.
And all that is another way of saying what you just said, which is curious and empathetic.
And it makes the other person feel alive.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think most people are looking to feel alive, but they're optimizing for something else in a transactional world where they think they need to have a checklist of things. And I bet you deal with that a lot.
I do. I deal with that a lot. And I also deal with what happens when there was a hope or expectation that someone would understand you and they don't, and you don't understand them anymore. And then you lose the plot. And that's a lot of what I do for a living, is like the aftermath of like weaponized intimacy, you know, like when two people open themselves up to each other and then they lose the plot of the thing they were trying to write together. And then there's a lot of like anger and sadness that comes with that. And yeah, I mean, my job is to help navigate the wreckage of that.
Have you ever helped navigate two people back to each other?
I tried to. I mean, that's why I wrote the books and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I always try in every conversation I have. Like, I do a lot of consultations. Like, it's sort of like a first date. Like, I turn down. I mean, to put it in perspective, like there's only one of me.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that want to hire me. So I get my office gets about 10 calls a day of prospective clients. I agree to do consultations with maybe 3 to 5 people a week, and I take maybe 2 new cases a month.
How do you filter through that?
I look at what the subject matter is, and is it something I can uniquely help with? Like, if you're just 2 W-2 wage earners dividing up your like, you don't need me. Like, you just don't need me for that. You know, yes, could a brain surgeon like put a Band-Aid on your cut on your finger? Of course they can. Like, but you don't need a brain surgeon to do that. A regular doctor could do that, or nurse could do that. Like a well-trained toddler could do that for you. So I'm very specific about, will I be the right tool for this task? And it's not about like how famous is someone or how much money someone has. It's much more about, is this a case that my unique skill set and experience would be of service to? And then it's a question of, okay, that will get them through the door for the consult. And then at the consult, I have to figure out, like, does my communication style and their communication style match up? Are they someone who I think do they want me because they want to be able to say they hired Jim Sexton?
Yeah.
Or do they want me because they like the way that I communicate with them and the way that I analyze the problem and the way that I approach things strategically? So are we a good fit for each other? And then, you know, the third question is, can they afford me? And you know, that's a realistic question, because I'm expensive now, because the only thing I have to sell is my time, and there's a limited amount of it. It's the only non-renewable resource. So I have to be a little selective about who I work with. And I do pro bono work for domestic violence organizations, and I do pro bono work occasionally. Like, that's the perk of being the boss, is I get to pick what cases we do. But, you know, I have to be a little bit stingy with my time and my talents now, because there's a limited amount of time.
How common is domestic violence?
Incredibly common. Tragically common.
And we're talking about like actually physically hitting someone, or
verbal? We're talking about intimate partner abuse, which is, I'm not, going to engage in like the broadening of that definition so broad that it's absurd, and that like an ill-spoken word is then considered domestic violence. Domestic violence, when appropriately defined, is defined as coercive control and intimate partner abuse. Does it have to be physical? No. The threat of violence can be as egregious and traumatic as actual physical violence. Like, the threat of serious economic abuse, psychological abuse, the threat of leveraging someone's ability to be with their children. Like, those are real levers that you can hurt someone with much more than just punching them in the face, But actual physical violence is definitely a huge piece of it. If you're going to engage in domestic violence, you usually only have to hit someone once.
Wow.
Like, it's the truth. Because once you've hit someone once, they know you'll do it. They know you will cross the line from threat to action. This is something I'm sure Chris knows a lot about, which is, I studied, people always think I'm crazy when I say this out loud, but when I was learning how to be a good negotiator, one of the things I studied, in addition to Chris's books, is the psychology of torture, like, and how torture works.
Right.
And there's actually a lot of research on torture. And what is the optimal way to torture a person? Meaning, like, what is the moment where a person is most likely to give up information or do the thing that you want them to do that they really don't want to do? And the answer is actually very scientific. And that is, you threaten to hurt someone, because the fear of pain is much more persuasive than pain. Like, the human capacity to endure pain is much greater than any of us give ourselves credit for. But the fear of pain is incredibly persuasive. So the optimal way to torture a person, and it's a useful thing to know when you're dealing with people psychologically, is you threaten to hurt them. And then you hurt them a little. And then you say, that's nothing compared to what I'm going to do next. That's the moment where a person will give up information or do the thing you don't want them to do. Because what did you do? you created fear. Then you demonstrated that you're not just talking, you will cross the line from thought to action, and then you invoke the fear again. And the reason why I bring that up in the context of discussing domestic violence is that people have this mistaken belief that domestic violence is about someone repeatedly beating someone. And it's very often not that. It's very often that a person only once has crossed the line from threat to actual physical violence or threat to actual sexual assault. Then you never have to actually cross that line again because this person knows he's willing to do it. She's willing to do it. And that then every threat becomes much more persuasive because you know this person's willing to do it, and that's unfortunately an incredibly common reality for a lot of people. And I will tell you, as someone who's represented a lot of victims of intimate partner abuse and domestic violence, as well as perpetrators of intimate partner abuse and domestic violence, it's not like the guy in the spaghetti stained t-shirt, who look, it's a surgeon, it's a CEO, it's a lawyer, it's incredibly successful people. It's women. There are plenty of women who are perpetrators of domestic violence. And they will explicitly say, I have recordings of women saying to men I represent, yeah, I'm going to call the police and tell them that you hit me. And they're hitting him while saying this. Go ahead. You're going to tell the police that I hit you? I'm 4'8".
Who are they going to believe?
Right. Who are they going to believe? You or me? And by the way, what woman has not learned how to put on a game face? What woman has not learned how to, when she's feeling unhappy and has cramps and is miserable, look like the happiest girl in the whole wide world and like she's having a great time and she's comfortable? You don't think you can't use that power for evil? You don't think you can't threaten a guy and then when the police come, go, oh my God, thank God you're here. Of course you can.
Yeah.
Of course you can. And by the way, saying that does not diminish women. That's actually acknowledging a power that women have, right? But all power can be used irresponsibly. And all power, the power is neutral. A gun is neutral.
Yeah,
a gun
tool.
In the hands, right? A gun is a tool.
Tool is neutral.
Right? That power is a tool. That power to hide your true face and to that's a power, but it's neutral. And it can be used for good. It can be used for incredibly good purposes, and it can be used for unbelievably malevolent purposes, just like a gun could be. So, as a person whose job is to advocate often for victims of intimate partner abuse, a lot of what I do now as an experienced attorney is I teach a lot of continuing legal education seminars for judges and for lawyers, particularly younger lawyers, about how to work with victims of domestic violence and how to work with survivors of intimate partner abuse, how to identify a case where there is intimate partner abuse happening. Because you'll be surprised to know that the people who come into your office and say, my husband is a narcissistic abuser who's been gaslighting me and I've been a perpetrator of domestic violence, they are usually not the people who are actual victims. Those are people that have spent a lot of time on YouTube and learning what the lingo is. A real victim of domestic violence comes in, they have an alcohol issue or a substance use issue, or they appear to have mental health issues, like they're anxious and panicked all the time. And they come in and they say, I just want the case. I just want to get this divorce over with as quickly as possible.
And they don't even talk about
He's got a temper. He goes from 0 to 100 and he's just got a real temper and he's got a very short fuse. And you say, well, help me understand, what is his short, when you say he has a short fuse, could you give me an example of what that looks like? Well, he gets very upset very quickly and he's very, he's even put hands on me. When you say he's put hands on you, I'm sorry to ask, but could you give me an example of when he's put hands on you? And this person will tell you, oh yeah, a few times he's thrown me into the wall. And you're sitting there going, you didn't lead with that? But this person doesn't, whoever discovered water, it wasn't to fish. When you're in that ecosystem of domestic violence, you very often don't self-identify as a victim of domestic violence.
What do you identify as?
Someone who's in a relationship with a person who has a really bad temper and who I'm not doing a good job of managing his emotional state. Victims of domestic violence will come in and tell you to some degree that it's their fault. and that, well, like he's been very stressed at work and I can't be the easiest person to live with. And
do victims of cheating also feel this way?
Sometimes, although the world, because we talk more openly about infidelity, the world is a little less forgiving of that, particularly when men cheat. When women cheat, we're very quick as a society to say, oh, it was a voyage of self-discovery. Like if a man cheats, he's a piece of crap who can't keep it in his pants and it's his fault. If a woman cheats, it's usually that she wasn't satisfied by the man. She was on her own journey. She had to find her own thing. And it's so therefore the man's fault as well. So cheating, there's an imbalance in the force going on there. Like I've just seen it like when I go into court and I have a guy who cheated, I'm ready that he's just going to get pilloried. Like the judge isn't going to like him. No one's going to like him. When a woman cheats, it's like, well, how bad was the marriage? I mean, it must have been really quite awful if she had to cheat. Like it's not balanced at all. It's really unfortunate. And I think we all know that that's the reality of the world. Like I'm pointing out an imbalance that all of us acknowledge is real. We just maybe don't want to say it out loud, but it's a real thing. But I don't think we consider cheating the same as domestic violence. And I think that's fair because cheating is an urge. I mean, look, the urge, like lust, is a very normal human drive. So I think all of us go like, all right, I mean, you took the bait, like you shouldn't have, but like we all feel temptation from time to time. Like I've never felt the urge to physically assault a woman I was in a relationship with, ever, period. And full stop. Have I been angry at a woman I was dating? Of course. Have I been like, oh, I wish I could say to her? Sure. Have I said it? No. I've literally never cursed at a woman in anger in my life. Like I was raised differently than that. And it's just not something I feel. I can feel furious at a woman. A guy, I'll tell a guy, you know what, you're a fucking asshole. I wouldn't say to a woman, you know what, I wouldn't say that. It's just not in me. Because I was taught to regard women in a different way. And that might be sexist, that I don't raise my voice to women. Like I was raised not to do that. And I'm comfortable with that. But, do I think that I understand cheating? Of course. I've cheated. Of course. Like I'm an adult man. If you're being honest, at some point, you've probably cheated in your relationships. Like
what percentage of, I guess, men and women do cheat, have cheated, would cheat?
A colossal number. I would argue, I would say in the like 90 plus percentile, I think. I mean, yeah. It's hard to really navigate that because people don't self-report accurately, but whether cheating is the cause or the symptom is always the question. Like, is cheating something that breaks relationships or is the relationship broken and that's why you cheat? Like,
what have you found in your experience?
I think that cheating is a symptom. I don't think it's the cause. I think when people are connected to each other, they don't cheat on each other. I think disconnection is the root of all relationship demise. I think cheating comes from disconnection. I think lying in a relationship comes from disconnection. I think connection is everything. And I don't think that should be that controversial. I think when you meet someone, you deeply want to connect to them. And you're hungry for that connection.
As a man too.
I think men and women.
Because yeah. I think what women are being told, particularly through these algorithms, is that all men cheat. Men want variety. They, and they just want more and more, and everyone.
I mean, what I will say is, I do think there is a biological element. Men do crave variety in a different way than women, which makes sense biologically. Mm-hmm. Because if you and I are like every other aspect of nature, right? Like humans are the only aspect of nature that considers themselves separate from nature. I think it's what's hilarious about humans. Like we're the only animal that thinks we're not an animal, which is to me hilarious. But one of the things we aren't honest about is that we have biological drives that are primal, just like every other animal does. Like we want to reproduce. So much of this is tied to our desire to reproduce. But really think about the biology of male and female reproduction. The moment I orgasm, I'm finished with my role in the reproduction of the species. And it's the most enjoyable moment possible. And the second I come, I'm done if I need to be. women are locked in for at least 9 months. At least 9 months. Once you're pregnant, you are locked in for at least 9 months. And then we come out half formed. So you're actually locked in for longer than that because but a man biologically, again, socially, you can say, well, men are needed to help with this and to help with that. But theoretically, you could find another man who could help with these things. Like biologically, the moment of orgasm, I am finished with my role in the reproduction. I'm finished with my role in reproduction. The raising is different, but the reproduction, I'm done at that moment. So it makes sense that women would be much more selective and men would, if the biological imperative is to spread your DNA and to spread your genetics, right? And to preserve your genetics and offspring like every other animal and even insect, it would make sense that we would be created in a form that craves variety, that wants to go out and impregnate. Like you put, 100 men on an island with one woman and come back in 100 years or come back in 10 years, you're going to have 99 dead men and a bunch of babies. That's what you're going to have. You put one man on an island with 100 women, come back, you're going to have a civilization because that man can impregnate all of those women. Those women can have offspring. The offspring can sleep with each other. Like women have all the power in reproduction, but men are going to we have the need for variety. I mean, it's biologically hardwired in us. Again, can it be evolved from? I think it's supposed to be evolved from. I mean, I can say in my own journey as a man, like I certainly, like any other man, craved variety, wanted spontaneity and have as many sexual partners as possible. The beautiful women had a massive power over me when I was a younger man, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be with beautiful women and I wanted to be around them and I wanted to sleep with them. And I wanted to you have this, you're like just walking around possessed so much of the time. And ideally, you don't have to burn your hand on the fire to figure out that it's hot, but most men, myself included, you need to get a bunch of women to figure out that that's not the answer.
Yeah.
That's a bottomless pit.
Yeah. Which Neil Strauss showed in the game.
Neil is a great example of someone who said, if I could just bed down all of these women, I'll find happiness. And then you develop the ability to do that and you realize, oh, this is actually I want depth. I want to deeply connect to another person. Just like, by the way, a lot of women from the beginning want that depth of connection. And so it takes men sometimes a different journey to get to that same place where they go, oh, all of this sport fucking isn't actually the thing. What I really want is deep connection to another person. And when I'm satisfied, I don't want to eat anymore. I've always said, I believe in monogamy, but the vision of monogamy that I believe in is I'm going to sleep with as many women as I want to. And ideally that's going to be just one, right? Because if I'm full, I don't want to eat anymore. If my partner is satisfying me and I'm because I'll tell you right now, I don't want a woman I don't want to be in a relationship with a woman who, I really would love to sleep with a whole bunch of guys, but we have this rule, so I won't. That's not going to make me feel very good.
Yeah.
If we're in a relationship and I say to you, there's a lot of women I really want to have sex with, but we agreed I'm not going to have sex with them. So I'm resisting the urge, just so you know, babe. You're not going to feel good about that.
No.
You want a man who's going to say, oh my God, I want you and that's all I want.
Yeah.
You're my flavor. That's all I want. I just want that. And once I have that, I'm good. I can go out and do all the other shit. I can go out and take on the world now.
I think it's important for women to know that that's possible because a lot of women think it isn't.
Because I think we're being fed. I think women were terribly misled in the last 20 years into identifying with the perpetrator. I think, I've said before, I think Sex and the City did a lot to hurt society. Because I think Sex and the City was well intended, but the idea was we're going to convince women that what they really want to be is gay men. That what they really want to be is yeah, I can be just as sex hungry as men can. It's that meme that's all over TikTok now of the woman who's well, You know, I took him out to dinner, I had sex with him, and then I put him in an Uber just like they do to us. And then you see the guy and he's like, dude, this was the best night ever. Like, because for a guy, that's an incredibly satisfying experience. But the truth is, like, women have always been the gatekeepers of sexuality. Like, women have always, like, if I'm telling you right now, like, a lot of women say, oh, I hate shaving my armpits. I find it unpleasant having to shave my armpits. Okay. If all of the women agreed, hey, none of us are going to shave our armpits anymore, do you think men would go, well, then we're not having sex with you because that's disgusting? That's not, men would adapt to whatever women as the sexual gatekeepers said, this is what we're doing now. Like if women said, you know what, high heels suck. Yeah, our legs look good in them, but man, they're uncomfortable. Let's just all agree we're not going to wear high heels anymore. Men would not go, well, then we're on strike. We're not going to sleep with you anymore. We don't fucking care. Like, but there'd be that one bitch. There'd be that one woman who was like, wait, none of them are wearing heels? Okay, I got an advantage now. And that girl would go, yeah, I just wear heels for me. Like, I don't know. I don't know why all these girls don't wear heels. Like, I love them. I just enjoy wearing them. And then she would have advantage in the sexual marketplace. And I get it. Like, I get it. This is a competition to some degree.
Is it?
Of course it is. Like it's always been. It's the only competition that ever really exists. What do you think the money's for? Like men are out there pursuing money. What do you think they're pursuing money for? They're pursuing money so they can get laid. Everything everyone does is so they can get laid.
Even women?
I think so, but perhaps for different reasons. I don't think just to get laid. I think to find a mate.
So
to compete in the mating marketplace and ideally either have a life where they are taken care of and have the freedom to do whatever it is they feel like doing, or to have offspring.
So women are competing for resources
with other women.
With other women.
Yes, women are women's prime enemy and prime motivator.
Have you seen a lot of intrasexual competition?
Yes.
Can you give me examples of what it looks like?
I mean, I see the wreckage of people's failure to acknowledge what's actually happening in them and around them all day long. Like, I feel like doing what I do for a living and having represented men and women and made both sides of every argument that presents for the cheater and the cheated and the man who cheats and the woman who cheats and all of those pieces. Like you just have to learn the nuance of like, oh, this is what this person's motivation really was. And I think in all of these things, like women will forgive in a man who they find deeply attractive almost anything. And men will forgive in a woman who they find very attractive almost anything. Like the traits that they would find infuriating in a less attractive person. And when I say attractive, I don't just mean physically attractive. I mean attractive, whether it's their resources, whether it's their demeanor, their sexual ability. Like, you know, whenever I'm talking to men about this, they always mistakenly think I'm talking about beauty. Like that beauty is the number one currency for women. And I often say to them like, hey, do you know a woman who's beautiful and not hot? And they go, oh yeah. And I go, okay, do you know a woman who's hot and not beautiful? And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, so there's a difference. Like you get the difference. Like, you know a man who's really attractive, but not attractive.
Yeah.
And you know a man who's not attractive, but he's like really attractive, you know? And it's like, we all know what this is. Like there's something about like, I don't know what it is about this guy. I should like him, but I don't. Or I should find him attractive, but I don't. And then there's guys that you're like, on paper, this is not my thing, but man, he's doing something for me. Yeah. And that's a lot of what I see. Like that's where people cheat. That's the thing that brings people together and then ultimately causes them to overlook the real practical things that are going to submarine the long-term success of a relationship. Because very often what would make for an enjoyable sexual partner or an enjoyable boyfriend or girlfriend is not going to make for a good long-term partner, a long-term connection to another person. But you have to have those entry points. Like, that's the thing. Like, I understand that people are sort of like giving up hope sometimes. Like men are just saying, oh, there's no good women out there. And women are saying, oh, there's no good men out there. I understand why you would feel that way. But I genuinely don't believe that that's true. I just think we're all chasing the wrong things and the algorithm is feeding us a lot of enragement towards each other. It's weaponizing our authentic frustration.
Yeah.
And pointing it at each other.
Right. I want to get into that. Let's start with men.
Okay.
What do you feel like men are looking for and programmed to look for that is destroying their ability to find a good mate and connect?
Wow, that's a great question. So I think men are programmed to seek a woman who has a certain level of vulnerability because men want to be of use. Like the number one, Richard Reeves has done a lot of really interesting conversation and research, his organization, on why the suicide rate for men is so high compared to women, why it's 4 times higher, it's exponentially higher. And the answer is very often that men don't feel they have a purpose anymore. And one of the greatest things a woman gives to a heterosexual man is a feeling of purpose. If you want to test this theory, pretend you're having a hard time opening a jar of pickles. Any man of any age will get wildly excited about the opportunity to help you with that problem. Go out on the street and drop something of yours or have your bag spill some things and watch how many men run over to try to be of service in that situation. Because men primally, we're built to want to be of service. And part of that is that we are attracted to a vulnerable woman. And that's not in a malevolent way, not like, oh, she's vulnerable and we're going to eat her alive. It's really like a signal of, oh, I can be of service. I can be of use. I will have value to this person. And I think that is something that men, we've innately been hardwired to be that way for obvious biological reasons. But then I think it's become weaponized against us in the wrong ways. Men feel used. Men feel devalued. Men feel like they're not appreciated. If you ask a little girl, tell me some things that are great about being a girl, anything she says is the right answer. If she says, I'm smart, you say, that's right, girls are smart. And if you say, I'm strong, that's right, girls are strong, aren't they? If you ask a little boy, tell me what's good about being a boy, anything he says is a hate crime. If he says, I'm strong, girls are strong too. What do you mean girls aren't strong? Why would you say that? That's not a boy trait. Girls are just as strong as, well, I'm smart. Are you saying girls aren't smart? We don't, but when girls say this, if you say to a girl, what's good about being a girl, anything she says, if a girl says, I'm smart, you go, well, boys are smart too. That's not what we say. Now, again, this is a natural reaction to the fact that for many, many years, women were absolutely held back in Western culture, 100%, 100%. They still are, by the way. We still have the American Taliban happening around here. You don't believe me? Go to some of the Hasidic communities right now, where women don't have driver's licenses and they're not allowed to. And then tell me how progressive we're doing, spend a little less time worrying about if Sabrina Carpenter is properly liberated and spend a little more time looking at what's going on at Kiryas Yoel in Orange County. That's what's going on in the world. And that's where we would be focusing our energy if we were really concerned about the plight of women, but fundamentally, what we're really looking at here is just that we've convinced men that almost anything they do, they're doing it wrong. And that's really, really unfair, and they don't know what to do with that.
And what are the consequences of that?
Men are angry. Men are angry. I think men are angry. They feel isolated. They feel useless. They feel frustrated. I think men, when they're angry, we're not, as men, given as much of an emotional vocabulary. I don't think we're taught from a young age to be able to go into a room full of middle schoolers and high schoolers, boys and girls, and have them close their eyes and say to the room, how many of you have ever had a really bad day and you go home and you just call your best friend and you just talk to them about what a hard day you had? Raise your hand if that's true. And all the girls' hands go up and none of the boys' hands go up, or very, very few. Because from a very young age, women are taught that it's okay to emote to each other and to share with each other.
And if men do that, That's gay.
It's gay, it's weak. And by the way, some of that is that men are driven to being problem solvers. Like, listen, I have a deep emotional vocabulary, but if I called one of my male friends and I was like, dude, I'm having such a hard time with my son right now. And you know, I don't know what to do. He's got this going on, blah, blah, blah. And he went, that must be really hard. I'd be like, yeah, it is, man. That's why I fucking called you. Like, what do you think I should do? Like, when your son was going through stuff, what did you do? Like, do you think I should, like, I'm calling because I want a solution. I want you to help me find a solution. I'm not just emoting about something, which again, I'm not denigrating emoting about something. We're just speaking different languages. Like it took me 50 something years of being a heterosexual man in relationships with women to figure out that sometimes when I'm talking to a woman and she's sharing with me something that was painful to her, that she doesn't want me to solve it, that she just wants me to go, man, that sucks. I'm really sorry you had to deal with that. Like, that's really not fair to you. Like, you really, like, that must have been really hard. Like, and that when I say that to her, she goes like, yeah, thank you. Like, and like softens and is like, oh, like, whew, like that felt good to get that out. Like, that's just not natural to me. But I can learn, like I can learn your language.
By the way, I think we can learn your language too.
You can.
But instead.
But you have to want to. You have to want to, and I have to want to, and we have to give each other permission to, and we have to stop. The biggest thing is we have to stop hearing when a man says something's hard or he's in pain or something's unfair to him, we're not saying what you have is easy, and vice versa. Like a woman saying, like this is, men have to figure this out. Like when a woman says, you know how hard it is to be a woman? They're not saying it's so easy to be a man. I know it feels like that. Like it feels like that. Just like when I say how hard it is to be a man, it feels like I'm saying it's easy to be a woman. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's hard. And again, if you can give me the same thing that you want from me, which is that you can just attend to my pain and you can just be there for it and be present and try to understand. Like you said, to have that empathy and that curiosity. I don't know what that's like. Help me understand what that's like. Like, I don't know what it's like to have my hormones go completely out of whack every 28 days. My hormones are the same all the time. Like, they're the same all the time. When I was younger, they were incredibly enraged all the time. I wanted to fight everyone and have sex with everyone. That was what it was. And then it got kind of like, you know, a lot softer and a lot calmer. And then I started injecting it and now it's like a little bit more excited, right? So I'm a little bit more enthusiastic and angry than I used to be. But that's only because I'm injecting exogenous testosterone into my body now. Like most men in modern society past the age of 40. Because why? We want to feel this, what we believe to be very male primal thing. Now, I've missed the bullet that so many of my contemporaries do, where they go, well, if 1 is good, 2 is better. And if 2 is good, 4 is better. And then the next thing you know, you're purple and gigantic, you know, as opposed to saying, hey, I just want to maintain a certain natural state where I'm at my optimal best. Because the truth is, I'm not supposed to be alive. Like, in any society other than this one, like you die by the time you were 40. Like women would die in childbirth most of the time. Most children would die. Like most people died. Like we've created a society where people live far longer than we would have outside of this very unnatural state. And again, I'm not criticizing that very unnatural state. Like it has a lot of really great things going for it.
The Brian Johnson lifestyle.
But to turn around and say, well, first of all, like Brian, I think God bless him, but I think he's fighting a losing battle. Like Brian's going to die. I hate to be the one to tell it to him, but he's definitely going to die. Like, and he's going to age. He might do it slower. And by the way, if somebody said to me, you can live to 110 eating what he eats, or you can die at 80 eating really satisfying meals, I'm good, man. I'm good. 80's good. 80's good. I'm fine with
Same
that.
as you.
Like, I don't, like, I watch Brian's routine and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't do it for a day. I wouldn't do it for a day. Is he more disciplined than me? I guess so. I don't know that he is. I just think his goal is different than mine.
What is yours?
I want to live like real. I want to live hard. I want to die, and I don't want to die without any scars. Like, I want to die a worthy death. I want to live a worthy life. Like, I don't want to tiptoe through life and arrive safely at death. Like, I want to live a big life. Like, I've already lived a big life. Like, I've already said to both of my sons, I'm like, I die tomorrow, I fucking won. Like, I came from nothing and built what I built. I've loved more, had more sex, made more money, done more things, accomplished more than I'm playing with the house's money. So everything I'm doing now, it's the bonus round. It's the bonus round. Like, and I learned that from my father. My father was a Vietnam veteran, and every single friend he had died in Vietnam, basically. He graduated from the Naval Academy in 1966, and he went to Vietnam for 3 years. And every single man in my parents' wedding party died in Vietnam. Like, all of his friends died in Vietnam. My father came back from Vietnam, and he was like, yeah, this is all just the bonus round. Like, he got to live beyond 25. All of these other men died. Like, and so his attitude from day one was like, yeah, this is all extra. Like, everything's extra. And I feel that way about my life. Like, I feel like I've already lived more life than I ever imagined I would. I've loved more. I've lived more. I've accomplished more than I ever. And again, as long as I'm enjoying it and I'm riding this ride, like, I'm in, man. I'll keep going. But like, I don't have anything to prove to anybody anymore. Like, I don't have anything to prove to anybody anymore. I've played the game I play at the highest level. I've accomplished more than I ever wanted to. And that's what I wish everyone will have. I want every man, if you can find that, like, that's a life well lived. It's not living to 100 something. It's not, like, I've represented billionaires who are absolutely miserable because the money's just numbers on a page at some point. Like, there's only two amounts of money, enough and not enough. That's it. Everything else is an illusion.
I have a question about billionaires, because this has become very popular lately. But the way that Elon has these baby mamas, for example,
sure.
He's a very successful guy. Sure. He can do whatever he wants. At that level, he can afford that.
Sure.
Is that...
You could have a lot less money than Elon and have multiple children.
And still do that. And still do that. Is that something that's becoming more popular?
I don't think so. I think that Elon has... I don't know him personally. We have a lot of friends in common. The sense I get from him, and I do think there is something to it, is he is an incredibly intelligent person.
Yeah.
And he has a gift genetically to give to the world. I think that, if there is a inheritable trait to intelligence, which there is, could the world use a bunch of people with the creativity and intelligence of him? Yes, the world could. Like, you can dislike his politics and you still have to acknowledge that he's made tremendous gains in the world.
You want to know something crazy? I met a billionaire who told me that he would let his wife get impregnated by Elon and he would raise Elon's child.
Sure. I think from a biological standpoint, with what we know about what's carried in our genetics, I think that he is obviously an outlier when it comes to intelligence. I mean, there's a lot of men like that. Like Andrew Huberman is a good friend of mine, and Andrew's one of the most brilliant people I know. And I mean, just from a genetic intelligence and physical capability level. So could we afford to have a bunch of Andrew Hubermans running around? Yeah, I think the world would be there would be a lot of tremendous benefit to the world to have people with that genetics in them. Now, again, I don't really regard things like, there are some people that have the attitude of, oh, reproduction is, such an important piece in carrying your genetics forward. And he has the money to kind of make whatever choices he wants. He can live where he wants. He can impregnate who he wants. He can kind of do what he wants to do, and he can afford to do it. So if that's the choice he's made, that's great. That's the choice he's made. Do I think that if everyone had billions of dollars, that's the choice they would make? No, I think there are a lot of people that have lots of money that instead want the depth of connection to one person, and they want to have children in their home who they're raising, and they want to be deeply involved in the raising of their offspring, as opposed to sort of setting it up like franchises. I don't really know. I don't think that there's a right or wrong way to live your life, or if there is, it's not for me to be the one to say. But I understand what it is he's trying to do. I think to the extent that he understands what it is that he's trying to do, I think that any of us understand our motivation. But I understand what he's doing. I don't think that that's a model that's going to catch on. I don't think that there are a lot of men that are going to be like, oh yeah, I want to just have a bunch of babies and, afford to support them financially, but not be deeply involved in the day-to-day care of them, nor deeply connected romantically to the mother of my children. I don't think that's a model that's really going to catch on.
It's interesting because I talk to a lot of people about this, and I find in my experience, which I have to clarify when I say these things, there are a lot of women who are actually interested in being on the other end of that.
Of that transaction.
Yeah,
I understand why. I think, look, society has changed dramatically insofar as so much of our time and resources used to be consumed by trying to just accomplish basic things, right? Like, I got in a lot of trouble some months ago because I said that being a stay-at-home mom in the modern age is not the hardest job in the world. I didn't think that was a controversial thing to say.
I don't think it is.
Apparently, well, don't say it if you're a man who isn't a mother, because it really, I got just absolutely was all over me for it. And I was trying to simply say, not that it's not the most important job. I actually do think you could make the argument that being a mother is the single most important job in the world. Like, every person who's ever accomplished anything, they all have in common that they have a mother, and that their mother was an integral part of their presence in the world. Like, even if she died in childbirth, like, they only exist because of her. You guys have a fucking magic power in the fact that you're able to create and cultivate and give birth to life and then even feed it. Like, that's incredible. It's a superpower. So I don't think it's controversial to say it's an incredibly important job, but to say it is the hardest job in the world in the modern age, where we have dishwashers, grocery delivery, washing machines, modern medicine, disposable diapers, I don't think it's the hardest job in the world. And by the way, unlike being a hot tar roofer, where the first day you do it and 10 years later when you're still doing it, it still sucks and it's still really hard. Theoretically, a crying, screaming infant when they're 5 years old won't be screaming and crying as much. If they are, you need to get them checked out by a physician. So kids grow up. That's the thing about kids. So when a person says like, oh, well, you don't know how hard it is to be a mother. I have an infant. Right. You have an infant. And there's going to be a temporary period of time where that's very challenging. And then it's going to get quite a bit less challenging. And by the way, it's less challenging already than it was when we didn't have disposable bottles and formula and diapers, disposable diapers, and you had to wash the diaper. And you also at the same time had to cook a meal, which was a whole process because you didn't have a microwave or processed food or food delivery or DoorDash or any of those other things. So, like, to pretend we're not living in a world where our most basic, like, you used to need a man. Like, you needed a man, because if you didn't have one, another man was going to rape you, or another man was going to enslave you or kill you, right? Like, you needed a man to stop the other bad men, right? You needed a man to go out and kill a thing so you could get enough protein to survive and produce offspring. Like, that was what most of our lives, like most other creatures on the planet, were try not to be eaten and try to get enough to eat. That was our job, right? Now, that's the easiest thing in the world. And like, I hate to say the Unabomber was right, but like, go out and read like Ted Kaczynski's Industrial Society and Its Future. Like, he basically said industrial society is broken. Like, it's going to destroy humanity because everything has gotten too easy. And now we are engaged in surrogate activities, and all we're interested in, we're just completely detached from the natural world. Like,
what are surrogate activities?
Anything you do other than the things that need to be that you need to do to survive. Like the fact that the majority of your day for most of human civilization was consumed by trying to get resources to feed yourself and your offspring and survive. That has become incredibly easy. Like, the world is safer than it's ever been, and life is easier than it's ever been. And we are more angry and dissatisfied and think we have it worse than we've ever thought before, which is insane.
I think we have it bad in a different way.
Well, I think we've decided we have it bad in a different way. Like, we've decided we have it bad in a different way. Like, I don't buy that for a second. Like, I think we've, when you just got, like, have you ever had a really bad headache?
Yeah.
Okay. When you have a really bad headache, all you can think about is how you have a really bad headache. You can't get away from it. And all you think is, oh my God, if my head would just stop hurting, I would be the happiest person in the world. And then your headache goes away. And for like a few hours or maybe even a day, you're like, oh my God, at least my head doesn't hurt anymore. And you're just in a profound state of gratitude. Did you wake up today and go, I don't have a headache? No, you didn't. That's the nature of humanity, right? Like, we have lost completely the plot. Like, we've lost the plot. We do not understand how good we have it because we have it so good for so long. But like, it wasn't that long ago that we were all like, oh my God, could you imagine like when restaurants will be open again and we'll all be able to sit in the same room and eat together? We've already forgotten that. We're already like back to the thing and we're like, oh yeah, whatever. Like we're as ungrateful as we ever were.
I think we have better problems, but we still need to face the problem, which is that we're not connecting with each other and we're doom scrolling.
I think those are imaginary problems.
Are they?
I have always said that technology offers us real solutions to imaginary problems and imaginary solutions to real problems. Like, real problems are death, illness, loneliness. Like, those are real problems.
But loneliness is the problem of
But we're manufacturing loneliness. We've decided that the other person is not enough. Why? Because they're not pretty enough, or they're not this enough, or that enough. As opposed to, have you watched Love on the Spectrum? Why do you think we all love Love on the Spectrum? Because Love on the Spectrum is just people that are just neurodivergent enough that they can't be full of shit. And so all they do is go, I really want this person to like me, and I really want them, I want to like them too. And then they just like, it's shocking to me that anyone is like, oh, isn't it great that these people found love? Like, how? That's not shocking at all.
Yeah.
Because they're honest. They're real. They're authentic. All they did is strip this down to, listen, like, I just want someone to like me, and I want to be liked by someone, and I want to like someone. And like, all they do is give each other so much grace. Like, you watch that dates on that show. I cry every time. I cry like a kid every time I watch that show.
Logan is the cutest.
I love Logan.
I'm obsessed with him.
I have a framed photo of Logan in my office.
Do you?
Yes, to remind me that this is the presence of mind a person should have. Because his external, internal dialogue is my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, me too.
That he just is like, it doesn't matter that she doesn't have curly hair. That's okay. It's okay to have a girl that, and you know what? I really like you, even though you don't have curly hair. It's okay. I really like you anyway. You know what, Logan? Like, you're saying the quiet part out loud. You're so fucking real. You're so authentic. And by the way, we could all be that authentic. We just have to decide we're going to be that authentic. But we're not, because of, again,
fear.
Fear and the reality of dominance hierarchies, the reality of...
What does that mean?
We're constantly competing with each other. We're in an ecosystem where we're competing with each other. We all want the best. We all want the most. We're all afraid the things we have are going to be taken away. So we're spending a lot of time trying to protect ourselves.
And we're playing the game.
We're playing the game, but what is the game about? We're afraid of pain. We're afraid of emotional pain. We're afraid of physical pain. We're afraid of hunger. We're afraid of age, illness, death. We're afraid of lots of things. We're afraid of pain. But what we don't realize is that all of these things we're doing, all these walls we're building to keep the pain out, are keeping everything out. They're keeping all the warmth out too. They're keeping all the depth of, like, you have to risk being hurt to love. You have to. You not only have to risk being hurt, you have to accept the inevitability of being hurt to love. Like, that's why I think, like, it's the bravest thing in the world to love. Because you're accepting that you're going to hurt me. I'm going to let you hurt me. I'm going to lose you someday and it's going to gut me. But I want to have this with you. We're here right now.
I think if we're talking about dating, for example, which, by the way, I think that's the first challenge in a series of challenges of of the progression of a relationship, right?
Sure.
And I can speak for myself, and I have I have a lot of male friends. Yeah. I have like a rich ecosystem of people.
Yeah.
I think the first hurdle actually for us is the hardest. Do you know how hard I can't even imagine telling a guy that I like, hey, I like you. And also I've been taught not to.
Yeah.
You know, he needs to like you more than you like him. He needs to die for you.
Yeah.
Babe, you deserve princess treatment. Like, what is he doing for you, babe?
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're told.
Yeah.
And what are men told? probably something else equally as bad.
Yeah, I think men are told, watch out. She wants, she's going to pretend it's the cheese in the rat trap. Like she's a predator disguised as a house pet. Like that she's gonna let you drop your guard, and then she's gonna find vulnerability and weakness in you, and she's gonna weaponize it against you. Like that's what men are most afraid of. Like, that's what men are most afraid of, because that's a legitimate thing to be afraid of.
And you know what we're afraid of?
I think you're afraid of a man who's going to pretend to be
interested,
something that's interested and genuinely loves you, and that you're going to let your guard down, and you're going to give yourself to him fully. And you're going to let yourself fall into him, feeling that he's going to catch you or be a solid ground to build something on. And you're not going to protect yourself. And then it's going to turn out that it was a lie and he wasn't who he claimed he was. And he's actually someone who's just going to discard you and not be there for you.
Damn, you nailed that.
Yeah. Well, because it's the primary presenting problem that walks into my office on both ends.
Okay, so how do we move past that? Because we're not.
We have to be brave enough to try to love each other and to be hurt. And I think we have to say out loud what we're afraid of. I think it feels really good to say that out loud, and it feels really good to hear it.
Yeah.
Like I think when I said it, some part of you went, oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm scared of.
Of course.
Okay. That's scary.
By
That's
the
a
way,
scary thing.
Of course.
Like when I said that to you and you were like, yeah, that, I'm like, yeah, I'd be afraid of that if I was you too. That's an okay thing to be afraid of. Like, but couldn't you say to a man, like, and again, it's vulnerable. Like it's a vulnerable thing. Like it's a vulnerable thing to say to a man, like, I'm afraid you're going to hurt me emotionally. Like I'm afraid that you're not who you say you are. Like and again, like we have to cultivate conditions where we can say, because I will tell you as a man, it's really hard for me to say I'm scared. It's really hard for me to say I need rest, and I sometimes don't know that. And I need someone who's going to help me figure out that I need to rest, but who's not going to take away like my power.
Like the fire.
Right. Like I need someone who's going to say like, yeah, good. Oh God, it's so good that you go out in the world and you do all these things, but why don't you lay your head down for a minute? It's okay. It's okay to lay your head down for a minute.
Yeah.
Because a man like me, I need to be told that. But if you mommy me, I hate it. I don't want to be mommied.
What's the difference of saying that and being mommied?
I think being mommied is, you don't know what you need, lay down. You need to lay down. It's a mommy. Like a way of mommy. A mommy tells you like, knock it off, lay down, you need this. You don't know what you need. Like a strong man, in my experience, as one, we don't want that. We hate that. I have a mom. I don't want to fuck my mom. Like I don't want that.
We have that in common.
I want a woman who's good. Just like, by the way, when we were like, oh, well, this woman has daddy issues. Every woman has daddy issues. Every man has mommy issues. Like you want a man like your father, but who you want to sleep with. Like you want a man who's like, no, I'm looking out for you. You're my girl. Like you're my girl. I'm going to protect you and I'm going to be here for you. And I'm going to make sure you have all the things you need, because it gives me tremendous joy to do that. Not because I owe it to you or not because I'm afraid of you, because it makes me so happy to see you so happy. Like that's what being a parent is. My children, I say to them all the time, like my sons are always like, Dad, you didn't have to do that. I'm like, I know. Like, do you know what joy it gives me to see you thrive? Like there's nothing I could buy myself that's as fulfilling for me as giving my children things and seeing them thrive and be successful. Well, we want that. Why? Because that's love, right? That's what we want from a child. But what do I want as a man? I don't want a mom. I don't want a woman who's like, put your things down, go lay down. I want a woman who's going to say to me, you're doing so good. You're doing so good. God, you're killing it. But you know what, baby? Like, if you want to lay your head down for a minute, it's okay. Like, lay your head down for a minute. It's okay. You've deserved it. You've earned it. And then I do no, I don't need that. No, why don't you just for a minute, though? Just say it'll feel good just for a minute. And then I go, well, maybe just for a minute. And then I'm like, oh, God, because I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But then, like, again, like the right woman is going to then like, let me just have that and then be like, do you feel better? Yeah. See, so that's great, baby. You did it great. No, like boys, like Chris Williamson calls it good boy points. Like we will do almost anything for that, but we don't want to be like mommied about it. Like we want the praise of a woman. Like, but again, it's such a complicated thing. Like it's the example I always give is the shaving thing. I always talk about the shaving thing, that I dated a woman who, I shave all week because I have to look like Gregory Peck in Inherit the Wind. Like you have to look like a courtroom lawyer. And so I can't have that like, oops, I didn't know I was sexy stubble like guys get to have. And on weekends, I don't shave. And I was dating a woman who she had very sensitive skin. And every time I would kiss her or whatever, she'd be like, oh, your skin's like so stubbly. And I just had such resentment after a while where I was like, you know what? Like now I got to shave on weekends when I'm going to see you too, or else I'm going to get criticized. Like you should be glad I'm fucking kissing you. Like, like what? That relationship didn't work out for probably related reasons. But the next woman I dated, the exact same thing. But what she would do is, after I would like be clean shaven in the morning, she would like always come up behind me and she would go like, God, like it's so sexy when you're clean shaven. Like, I love it. You're like Don Draper in Mad Men. Dude.
Completely different approach, but it's the same.
I shaved like twice a day. Whenever I was going to see her, I would shave and I would always be like, oh, yeah, I'd shave this morning. And she was like, I know, I noticed, and it was like, why? Because instead of like me, it was like, oh, like, I love this about you. Like, and who wouldn't love that? Like, who doesn't love that? Instead of saying, like, think about it, we're dating and we're not sleeping, we're not having as much sex as we used to have, okay? Which happens sometimes in relationships. I say to you now as your boyfriend, why aren't we having as much sex as we used to? You don't give me as many blowjobs as you used to. What's going on with it? Okay, what do you immediately do now? Well, you're not around as much as you used to. Well, you don't take me out as often and we don't have romantic nights together anymore. Well, you don't instigate as much. You're immediately defensive. Whereas if I approached it as, what I was thinking about the other day? I don't know why it popped into my mind. I was driving down the road and I passed that restaurant. I remember we went on that date and then we went back to my place and we literally like didn't go out for like the rest of the weekend. We just stayed in bed rolling around all the time. God, that was like so fun. I think about that sometimes. Like that was like the best night. Like that weekend was like one of the best weekends of my life. Like I still love that about us. Like I still love that about like you're hotter to me now than you were even back then. Okay, I have now primed the pump. Yeah. Like you are now like, well shit, I'm in this. Like I brought you back to this place where we were together and this self that we were, this organism we were together. Like, okay, so there's a right way and a wrong way to do the thing. And you're right. We shouldn't have to, right? Like in a perfect world, we shouldn't have to like accommodate ourselves to the will of the other. Everyone would just give everybody exactly what they need all the time. Okay, but that's like fantasy land. Like in the real world, couldn't we just slightly adjust the way? Because there's nothing insincere about what I just did. There's nothing dishonest about it. Those are real things. Like those are real things. Like is makeup lying? No. Makeup is accentuating the positive and decentuating the negative. Like if a woman takes off her makeup, would I go, oh, you were lying. You don't actually look like that. No, you're accentuating the positive, decentuating. Why am I dressed like this? Am I just as good of a lawyer in a t-shirt and jeans? Yeah, it's a mental thing. Like that's like, this doesn't, what is this? This is a message. This is a signal. It's a symbol. It's a symbol. I take this seriously. Yeah. Like part of the appeal of me to women is I dress like a man. I dress like a grown ass man. Like there was a time, and there are still cultures where men put on a suit to go out, to like just go out and drink an espresso and chat with their friends. Like men just like go to Italy. Like there's parts of Italy where men just like, put on a suit. Like a man puts on a suit to just go out to the store. A woman puts on a dress and a little bit of makeup just to go out to the store. She's not in yoga pants 24/7. And again, what is this about? Is there something wrong with men wearing, hoodies and jeans? No, but it sends a different message. Like I like sending the message that, yeah, I take shit seriously. I'm a man to be taken seriously and I take shit seriously and I have some place to go. I'm doing something important today, and that I think women are drawn to that. Just like a man, when a woman is, dressed in a way that she's taking you, like you're dressed nicely, you're put together in a nice way, you're sending me a message. And that message is, hey, I take this seriously. I take myself seriously.
By the way, that is very empowering. Like as a woman 100%. To know that I can just put on heels and wear a bodycon dress
and have a power over me automatically.
Yeah, like what's the issue?
Like a beautiful, and I'm an adult man who's not in the dating marketplace. And when I walk past a beautiful young woman like you walks past me and the scent of a little bit of her perfume, it is just lovely. Like, it's lovely in the way that looking at a beautiful flower or a painting, like, I don't need to take the painting home. I can just appreciate it. Like, I don't need to pluck the flower. I wouldn't want to pluck the flower, but I can admire it. I can just, there's something about being around like a beautiful woman or a charming man. Like, you're telling me that there's not something lovely about being around a charming man who's attentive and polite and chivalrous.
No, it's everything.
It's wonderful. And by the way, it's wonderful to be that man. I love opening a door for a woman, young, old, whoever, and having her, thank you so much. Of course, please. Like, I love, one of my favorite moments of the day is when I'm on the subway and a woman gets on and I stand up and go, would you like to sit? And she goes, oh, thank you. And she sits. I love it.
By the way, it's such a nice song and dance.
It's a beautiful dance. We're both, by the way, she feels amazing that she just was honored in that way. Like, oh, please, you sit. And I feel amazing that I'm like, oh, yes, of course. I'm going to stand because I'm the man and I'm going to stand and you should sit. Like, what a lovely dance we get to do and how we can both appreciate and enjoy it. And by the way, if she gives me the courtesy of that little smile, or when, you know, she gets off the train, she goes, thank you. And I go, of course, you know, like, what a lovely little interaction we had. And again, I don't have to sleep with her. She doesn't have to sleep with me. I'm not interpreting that signal as anything other than we're just doing this thing together. Like, and what a lovely thing it is to get to do.
And I think so many people have been taken away from that little song and dance, which is actually so energizing. I mean, look, I'm a working woman with a good job and all that, but I still like being the recipient of that kind of attention, chivalry, whatever. And also, I don't know, I just feel like we've been discouraged from doing that. How damaging, by the way, do you think the Me Too movement was in this
I think both sides, Me Too and like the extreme ends of the manosphere, I think have been very damaging because they put everybody on their guard in ways that really make that lovely dance and lovely game I just described like something everyone's uncomfortable doing. And by the way, I understand it. Like, because there are plenty of men who do not know how to take rejection appropriately or do not know how to read the room.
Yeah.
Like, when women say like, oh, why aren't men approaching us anymore? I'm infuriated by that because it's like, we're not approaching you because we were told not to approach you. But we were told it for valid reasons. But the valid reason is that a lot of men don't know how to behave. Like, there is nothing wrong with seeing an attractive woman, and if she catches your eye and you catch her eye, approaching her. And if it then becomes clear that she's not, then politely stepping away and have a lovely day. Like, there are plenty of women that when I go, would you like to sit? And they go, no, that's fine. And I go, okay. And that's it. I'm not going to force you. Like, I'm not going to impose that on you. I'm going to say it in a very neutral, like, would you like to sit? And if there is an energy that I get sometimes of no, like, oh, okay, of course. Like, that's it. Like, I'm not, and by the way, I don't go, bitch. Like, no, I don't, like, okay. Like, I don't know what's going on there. It has nothing to do with me. You don't know me. I did something. By the way, if an elderly man got on the subway, I'm going to get up and offer it to him. Like, I believe that the role of a younger, stronger man is that, you know, we should be deferential to, like, part of the joy for me of being a man is being a protector, a provider, all those very cliche things that men like to say we like to do. But I think part of that is I also know how to behave appropriately when I don't get my way. When the game doesn't go exactly like I thought it would, I don't throw a temper tantrum and get overly aggressive about it. And so I think that's why a lot of women stopped playing that game, because men
didn't know how to behave,
you know, and that's a real thing. Like, that's a genuine, real thing. I'm not discrediting that at all. I'm not a woman. I don't know what it's like to be on the receiving end of the threat of male aggression.
Do men tell you that they feel like they can't approach women the way they used to?
Yes, 100%.
So what are we supposed to do? Should we start approaching men? Like, I don't know what. Like,
no, I don't think that'll really work. I think long term that won't work. I think we just have to stop. We have to stop this silly game, and we have to go, okay, guys, what can we all just agree we're going to reformat the hard drive here? We're going to turn it off and turn it back on again, like a computer that's not working. Like, we're going to close the app and then reopen it. Like, this isn't working. We can all agree this isn't working.
Yeah.
No one's having fun. Like, let's just agree. No one's having fun. Like, you're driving down the road, you realize you're lost. Don't hit the gas. Stop. Look at the map. Figure out where the fuck you went wrong. Or just stop. Like, you don't keep going in the wrong direction. We keep going in the wrong direction. We are doubling and tripling down in the wrong direction. No one's having fun. Let's just stop and say that. And then go, okay, what feels good? In conversation with each other, this is not the first conversation I have had with a young, smart, single woman. Danielle Robe, your friend, like plenty of other people, I've had this exact conversation. Jana Hawking, I can name like 15 women I've had this conversation with. And they all want the same things, right? And they're really the same things the men want too. Deep connection, fulfilling sex, the prospect of a future that doesn't feel so sort of lonely and isolated and where you feel some connection to another person, connection to something bigger than yourself, whether it's a culture or a faith or a family, whatever it might be, anything, like we all kind of want the same things, but we're all so understandably like bobbing and weaving and nervous, and the algorithm is feeding the shit out of that.
Yeah.
So I think the way to fix it is this. It's just conversations. Like, it's honest, vulnerable conversations. And I do think, and I think Scott Galloway is onto something with this. So is Richard. So is Chris Williamson. I think older men have to start talking to younger men about how the fuck to behave. I think older women have to talk to younger women about, like, drop your guard a little bit, play the game, do the dance a little bit.
Okay.
Like, we have a responsibility to each other.
This is very important because a lot of the older women and men who have been burned are now giving warnings.
They're the only ones talking.
They're the only ones talking.
They're the only ones talking.
That's what I was going to say.
They're the only ones
and
talking.
And so everybody is just giving everyone else a warning. And so we're all just like.
No, but the crazy people are talking. That's all that's happening. Yeah. Like, when I tell people I'm a divorce lawyer, they go, oh my God, you must have some stories. The most divorces are not brutal. Like, most divorces are like my divorce, where it's two people that grew apart. The Venn diagram of things they had in common got smaller, but they still really care about each other. Maybe they have kids in common, and they end their relationship. They have to figure out how to divide their time with their kids, divide their assets. And then they go on to find fulfilling lives. My ex-wife's been married for 15 years to a wonderful guy. Wonderful guy. My older son just got married recently. We all hung out together, had the most wonderful time at the wedding. He and I were tying the bow ties of the ushers. My ex-wife was like joking with both of us, like two men who she's, been married to. They've been married for 15 years, far longer than she and I were ever married. Like, that's what a lot of divorces are like. Like, it's just two people. Like, a lot of breakups are just two people that figured out, okay, we're not really right for each other. Like, there's a lot of people I love that I wouldn't want to be married to. Like, I'm a great ex-husband. I'm not a great husband. That's okay. Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It's a job description. It's a skill set. I'm not great at that skill set.
But I would imagine that you're still a good partner if you were to be in a relationship.
A good partner to the right person.
So what makes you say you're not a good husband, though?
Because I think I wasn't a good husband to the woman I was married to. But she wanted someone who was the man she married is the perfect man for her. He's a therapist. He listens more than he talks. He's incredibly patient. And considers work something that you have to do, but it's not really like the fulfillment of your purpose in life.
So maybe you would be a good husband to someone who would like the type of guy that you are.
100%. I think we have to find the right lid for the pot. Like, everybody's going to like something a little bit different, and you have to find the complementary polarity to yours. I think that I would be the wrong partner for someone like my ex-wife. And the man she married is the right partner for her. By the way, like, anybody who meets her current husband and me goes, how could this woman have been married to both of these men? They're completely different.
Yeah.
Like, my sons, who love their mother very deeply and love me very much, both joke, because they were 5 and 7 when we split up. They're both like, oh my God, I can't believe you and mom were ever married.
Yeah.
Like, how were you married for even a few years? Like, you guys are so different. Like, you just like everything you like is different from each other. And meanwhile, she's still one of my favorite people. Like, she's hilarious. She's smart. But we're just not right for each other in that setting. We met in college. So I had a motorcycle and she had big boobs. Like, what more could you want? Like, she was like, oh, he's a cool bad boy with tattoos and a motorcycle. And, he's like smart and funny. And I was like, she's like really, really pretty, has big boobs, and she's funny as hell. Like, what more could we want? Like, that's enough to build a life on. Turns out it's not. But that's okay. Like, we didn't make any mistake because we have two amazing sons as a result of that pairing. So I guess the thing I would want to drive home to young people, like only the crazy people are talking because they've been wounded.
Yeah.
And when you're wounded, you very often talk about, all the bad things that happened to you. Like, like the one that hollers is the one that got hit, So what we need to do is like the normal people have to start talking. Like the people that go, yeah, like I made some bad choices. I married a girl for the wrong reasons. She married me for the wrong reasons. We had two awesome kids. Like, fuck it. Roll the dice, man. Like, roll the dice. Like, go make some big mistakes. Like, go out there and just do. Like, Scott Galloway says this stuff all the time. Like, his belief is that, we need to start, like, drinking more. We need to, like, go out and have some drinks and make some bad decisions together.
Probably he thinks that because we're not being honest. He's like, all right, at least if they drink,
just, like,
I don't know what it is.
Just make some mistakes. Like, you have to make some mistakes. Like, you have to try to love the wrong people. And you have to get hurt, but you can't let the hurt make you bitter. Like, you just have to get your heart broken sometimes and then realize, okay, I survived that. Like, you have to talk to anybody who's successful in business. They'll tell you all the things they failed at.
Yeah.
But they don't let those failures define them. Like, they still believe in the enduring power of love and the depth of connection. And like, people say to me all the time, they're like, oh, you're a divorce lawyer for 25 years. Like, do you believe in love? And it's just the craziest question. Of course. Like, do I believe in love? Like, do I believe in gravity? Like, it's undeniable. It's everywhere around me. It's the only thing. The only thing is love. All the things we're doing to find love or to feel worthy of love. That's it. That's it. That's all we're doing. This whole thing, this is so that you can feel worthy of love and I can feel worthy of love. And so I can feel connected to another person, whether it's connected to you or connected to the person who's listening to this conversation. Like, we're desperately trying to connect right now. Like, desperately. Like, why can't we just say that out loud? Like, if we said that out loud, it's so much braver.
I love saying it out loud. I had a friend that I made a few years ago, and he's very young. And one day we were on the phone, and he's like, Nicole, I just realized I'm such a lover boy. And when he said that, I noticed myself getting extremely emotional, like adrenaline pumping through my veins. Mm-hmm. And it was because I was like, oh my God, why am I such a liar? Why am I such a fraud? Why am I acting so hard as if I don't want this thing? Like, I am such a lover girl. Yeah. By the way, I love having a crush on someone. It fires me the fuck up. Yeah. I love liking someone. And it's not for the reasons people think. It's not like, oh, I like this billionaire who provides for me and blah, blah. No, I love liking someone. I love the spark in people's fucking eyes when they talk. I love their passion. I love when I feel alive because I'm with them. And I think that's what we've lost. And I think people don't realize that everyone else wants that too, because we're all just providing checklists of what we want. Needs to be hot, this, that, rich. It's like, dude, one of the biggest problems I think that's happening in these bigger cities, and I'm sure a lot of your clientele, I hate to say it like this and people are probably going to get mad, but there's probably a word for the female equivalent of this. But I think a lot of men are spiritually gay. And what I mean by that, if you'll let me continue.
Yeah, I hate it.
What I mean by that is that a man can be sexually straight, but spiritually, emotionally, only connects with other men, only wants the approval of other men. Yeah. And his pursuit of a woman is even to get someone so hot so that other men will be like, bro, you got a baddie. How'd you
women
land
do
that?
The same thing too.
Of course, and by the way, 100%. I haven't figured out the female equivalent of that word. And I don't mean, I'm not homophobic. Like, I don't mean it in that way.
What you mean. Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, you're homosocial.
I don't think anyone could deny the reality of that. But what I think some of that has to do with is where we find value and how we define like self-value. Like, I think, I've said before, like, if you want to conduct the orchestra, you have to turn your back on the audience. Yeah. Like, and I think a lot of the problem is we're social creatures. And so we want the acceptance of the crowd. Like, I represent a lot of famous people. And fame is a much more powerful and frightening and addictive drug than money.
How so?
Fame is like a shortcut to the things that money gets you. Like, money gets you access and the admiration of others. Like, I am moderately famous now. Like, on the way to the studio from my office, which is only like, a few blocks, I had 5 people stop me Hey, you're the divorce lawyer. Oh my God, I love your stuff. I had a guy go, I don't know your name, but you're the GOAT.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, like if I'm the GOAT, you should probably look up my name. No, but I thought it was really lovely. Like, now what I'll tell you is I learned, because I've been representing celebrities a lot longer than I've been a minor celebrity. I now understand why some of my celebrity clients are such assholes. Because all day long, I'm getting affirmation thrown at me. All day long, people are telling me how amazing I am. Strangers are just walking up to me and going, I'm sorry, I don't want to bother you. You're amazing. And if I went in my DMs right now, while we've been sitting here, there's probably 4 women that have messaged me saying, I just want to shoot my shot and see if you would want to get coffee with me sometime.
I know girls that have crushes on you.
Yeah, totally. And it's lovely. It's a beautiful thing. It's a very gratifying thing. Like, we're social creatures. I'd be lying if I said to you, it doesn't feel amazing when some random person comes up to me and says, I'm sorry, I don't want to bother you. I just want to tell you you're incredible. Like, what a lovely thing to say to another human being. And of course, I'm human. It feels fantastic. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You start to crave that. Like, I remember the first few times it happened being like, this is great. And then it started happening every day.
Right.
And it still feels great. I love it. But about a month ago, 2 months ago, I was walking to my office and I don't know what was going on, but just nobody stopped me. Like, nobody stopped me. It was just weird. Like, no one, the streets were as crowded as they ever are, but I was wearing the same thing I'm usually wearing. Nobody stopped me. And I remember I thought, am I like falling off? Like, am I walking too fast? Like, should I like stop for a minute and look at my phone? And like, maybe then and I thought, oh, don't do this, man. Like, don't start craving it. Like, don't need it to be okay. Like, why do you need strangers to tell you you're great? Like, either you know it or you don't. Like, either you believe that about yourself or you don't. A bunch of strangers telling you you're wonderful, you shouldn't need that in order for you to know who you are and like what value you have. So I think that idea of like men who need the validation of other men in order to feel good about themselves, it's that same hole that fame is. Like,
Absolutely.
It's a mask that eats into the wearer. And I think a lot of it is a function of, again, like not having love from your parents. Like, I learned from a very young age that love is something you earn.
Same.
Like, love is something you earn.
Yeah.
Like, you did good on the test. I'm proud of you. You know, you did a good job. Good. I love you. You know, not just, you don't have to be anything. You don't have to accomplish anything. I love you. You can fuck up and I love you. It's okay. I fuck up. It's okay. I love you no matter what. Like, you can't lose my love. You can be mad at me and I love you. You can do the wrong thing and I love you. Like, you can fail and I'll be proud of you because you tried and I'm proud of you for trying. Like that, every person in the world, those words go right to their heart, right to their soul. Like, and that, by the way, that's the reason why any of your friends have a crush on me. Like, it's that energy. It's that like daddy energy of like, I'm proud of you. You're doing great. I'm cheering for you. I want you to succeed. Like, I think you're doing a really great job. You're doing your best. You're important to me. Like, this is the messages we should be getting from our parents. And then ideally, we will find in a romantic partner.
And that we will give to a romantic.
And then we will get, exactly right.
And no one thinks about that part, I think.
I think they do. But again, we're just being fed this whole thing of like, again, understandably, everybody's scared. Like, everybody's scared. I get it. Like, everybody's scared. It's okay to be scared. Like, love's scary. Getting hurt is scary. But I'm telling you, like, you know, one of the best things, like, the reason my nose looks like this is I trained in martial arts from the time I was 7. So I got my nose broken like 22 times doing full contact karate. And what you learn when you get punched in the face enough times is that you can get punched in the face and you'll be fine. Like, it's why boxers can just get punched in the face. And then they're like, if you ever watch a boxing match and you go, how is that guy getting hit so many times and he's still just okay? Because you get punched enough times, you start to realize, oh yeah, you can get punched. You'd be all right. You know, like, it's okay. Like, that's part of the thing. And it's a superpower of sorts. When you realize like, oh, it's okay. Like something can hurt and I'll be okay. Like things are hard and I know you well enough to know you can do hard things. Like, and that's the message we should be sending to each other. It's like, yeah, I got knocked down. Like I believed in this person and I trusted them and then they hurt me. The answer to that is not, well, then I'm not ever doing that again. The answer to that is, okay, like I learned something from that. Like, and I survived that. Like, and I learned from that. And I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep trying to trust. Like, I'm going to keep, like, we break in relationship and we heal in relationship. Like, you don't break in relationship and then heal in isolation. You break in relationship and you heal in relationship. Someone cheats on you. The answer is not, I'm never going to get close enough to let someone cheat on me again. I'm never going to commit to someone again. I'm never going to believe in monogamy. I'm going to give that up and I'm going to follow ethical non-monogamy or polyamory. The answer is, I'm going to trust somebody again and maybe I'll get hurt again. And that's okay. Like I'm strong. I can handle that. Like I can handle being hurt and I'll survive and I'll keep moving forward because what's at the other end of that fear is worth it. Like, because again, if we're honest about what we're afraid of with each other, I think there's a way out of this, but we just have to be honest with each other about what we're scared of.
I think so too. And honest with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to risk
But that's hard. I've always said that the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves because those are the ones that start us lying to other people and we didn't even realize we were doing it, you know? But I believe there is a path out of this. And I think the path is exactly this. I think there is a reason why the algorithm is feeding us all this enragement and boys versus girls bullshit.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why conversations like this one are increasingly popular. Because I think men and women in conversation, when we're being honest and vulnerable, we learn a lot about each other and we understand each other. Like nothing you're saying when you talk about like the things that make being a woman right now really hard and being a single woman looking for a man really hard, none of it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Like all of it makes sense to me.
But do you also feel that I'm also really hopeful and excited?
I do. Yeah.
I hope that I hope that
I do. And I think that's an admirable thing that you should be radiating. I think it's really good to radiate.
I'm really
that.
trying to help. Yeah. A lot of girls ask me like, well, how do you have so much hope? Like, bitch, I manufacture that shit.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I look for happy couples. Yeah. I'm excited. Like
and they're out there.
You know what else? And I'll make this recommendation. I'm sure you have this. Don't you have a lot of female friends?
Well, I was going to say that earlier when you were talking about men who crave the praise of other men. I think it's because a lot of men growing up, that's all they have. I was a very dorky kid and was not popular among other boys. I have a sister who's 6 years older than me, Lori, and I hung out with her and her friends most of the time. So from a very young age, I was really comfortable talking to women. And when I got to college, a lot of my male friends, because I went to Catholic school my whole life, a lot of my male friends went to all boys schools and they had no idea how to talk to women. And I was incredibly comfortable talking to women. And I was also poor. So I couldn't take women out on like fancy dates. So what I would do if I was going to take a woman out is I would say, do you want to go to the diner and we'll just get coffee? And we would just sit. You could smoke in diners back then. That's how old I am. And I was a smoker at the time. And we would just sit and talk for like 2-3 hours. And I learned from a young age, like how to talk to, I listened to my sister's friends talking to each other and they would talk to me. Yeah. And I just learned how to talk to women. And when I got to college, I remember like all my male friends being like, dude, why are you so comfortable talking to women? And I was like, how are you not? Like, it's so easy to talk to women.
Yeah.
Like they're so open. Like, I don't know how to talk to men because there's this whole bro thing of what you're not allowed to say and don't say that or you're gay and da-da-da. Like, and I wasn't that way. Like I was very like, I talked more like a woman, but yet I was a guy. Like I was a guy who like fought and rode a motorcycle and had tattoos, but like I was way more comfortable talking the way women talk to each other. And so I had kind of cracked the code, you know, and men wanted to be around me because they were like, dude, the girls like hanging out with Jim because they're talking to him and stuff. Yeah. And like, if I hang out with him, like there's girls around all the time. And that's what it turned into. And so I genuinely think that the more men and women have real conversation with each other, like cultivate a group of men who are not looking to sleep with you.
Dude, thank you.
Cultivate a group of women who you're not like you and I, we are not in the marketplace of sleeping with each other, right? So
Right.
like, look, we're age inappropriate. We're in different stages of life. Like you're closer to my son's age than mine. So I'm not trying to get in your pants and you're not interested in getting in mine. So this is great. We have a lot to learn from each other and there's a tremendous amount of risk that's been taken away now. So we can have really honest conversations with each other. And if I'm having a challenge in my relationship, I can say to you like, dude, what's going on with this? Can I share this with you? And you can be like, oh, here's what's going on with her.
I always go to my male friends with
Why
my
not?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh
Why
my God.
wouldn't you? So get a couple of those. Like this is the path out. The algorithm is not the answer. Like if I want to know, how to do something, like go to the people, like go to the source of this. And I genuinely, that's one of the things that like all these messaging that's being sent to men, some of it by guys I'm friends with of like, dude, you don't let your girlfriend should not have male friends. Like all her male friends want to sleep with her. By the way, maybe they're male, they think about it.
Yeah.
Like most men, it's like, well, yeah, I guess if you're offering. Like
they would, yeah.
Like you would. Like most men would. Like that's why I've always said that like the hall pass thing is the dumbest thing in the world because like, it's not like if Sabrina Carpenter and I were in an airport lounge together and I went, Sabrina, I'm in a relationship, but I have permission to have sex with you if you'd like to go have sex with me. That she would be like, oh my God, really? Let's go do that. Whereas, like most male actors, if a beautiful woman was like, hey, by the way, like, do you want to like run in the bathroom and have a quickie? Like, they'd be like, shit, I got 10 minutes. Yeah, let's go. Like most men are pretty, open about if you look at gay men, like I'm friends with a lot of gay men. I live in Chelsea. Like gay male culture, you see hookup culture is huge among gay men.
Yeah.
Whereas lesbian women, hookup culture is not a huge thing. Relationships are a huge thing. Depth of relationship is a huge thing. That's why the old joke is that what does the lesbian bring to the second date? A U-Haul truck, because they move in together.
Yeah.
Whereas gay men constantly hooking up, because again, it's two men with two male sex drives. So the truth is, like, if we could really create a safe space where we reach across the aisle, men and women, in heterosexual conversation and help each other understand the ecosystem we're trying to navigate, I think we could get somewhere.
I think so too.
We'll see.
One question. Well, I have many questions. I don't even know how much time you have.
I have unlimited time.
Okay. Oh God. Once a cheater, always a cheater. True or false?
I think false. I think once a cheater, you've demonstrated you have the proclivity towards something that most people have the proclivity to, but that you're willing to cross from idea to action. So you are proving that you are more resolved than a person who just thinks about cheating. But I know a lot of people, myself included, who have cheated and really learned hard lessons from it. Like I'm the kind of person I have to step on the rake to figure things out.
Yeah.
Like I have to burn my hand. Like I wish that someone could share wisdom with me and then I go, you're right. That's how I should feel. That's not how it works with me. I have to fuck up. And then I fuck up and I go, oof, And I will tell you, when I cheated in my life, I learned very quickly how there's nothing but pain there. Like you hurt yourself, you hurt the other person, you hurt the person you cheated with. And I've now represented tons of people who cheat and have been cheated on or were the paramour, were the side person. And I just see how much pain is caused in that.
What is it that you were looking for when you did cheat? I
wasn't being honest with myself about what I wanted, and I was doing the easy thing. Like the hard thing to do and the right thing to do are almost always the same thing. And the really hard thing to do is to say to your partner, I'm feeling disconnected from you right now. Like my eye is wandering and I don't know why. Like you were enough and I was really full and happy. And now I'm not feeling that way. And I'm starting to feel pulled in other directions. And the flirtation of other women is starting to feel really appealing to me. And I don't want that. I want us. I want the depth of us. And if this is broken and I can't get that back, then we should break up. Or we have to have a really serious conversation about are we going to have, an open relationship or something like that, which, a lot of people aren't going to want. That's a really hard conversation to have because a person's going to hear it and they're going to feel defensive and they're going to feel frightened and they're going to feel again, I think defensive is the first thing that most people are going to feel. But I think so you do the easy thing, which is you're like, well, what's the harm? No one ever cheated because they were like, you know what I want to do today? I want to fuck my life up. I want to just fuck it up bad, No, it's oh, come on, it's harmless. we're just playing. It's just fun. It's fun to play. Let's play. Like, it's nobody's even watching. Like, let's just play a little bit. And then it turns into like, okay, well, we crossed that line, but that's not so bad. That's no big deal. Like, we kind of crossed that line, but it's like we're flirting. It's not a big, And then it's like, well, we kind of like, and then it just builds and builds and builds. And then once you've crossed the line, now you've crossed the line. And then you go, all right, well, now I've see, this is going to sound esoteric, but so I was raised very religious, but I'm not particularly religious anymore.
Was there any value in being raised that way?
Yeah. Oh my God, absolutely. I think being raised religious was a great gift to me because it taught me to ask the right questions. I think religion is great when it's teaching you to ask questions. It's terrible when it tries to give you the answer. And
terrible when it's causing shame, I think.
Yeah, except for things that we probably should feel some shame about. Like I do think I'm a believer in shame. I think shame is a reflex that we have for real reasons. And I think there are times in my life I should have felt ashamed. Like my behavior was beneath my morals and I should feel ashamed.
I appreciate that perspective. I guess what I'm trying to say is there are people who have now, and by the way, God is back and more popular than ever. He was always there, but more and more young people are going to church.
People want meaning.
We want, yes, we want,
a God-sized hole.
We want to know that we're not alone. That there's a greater power out there. I think that's a beautiful thing. But when I talk to people who resent religion and resent God, what they often tell me is, oh, it caused so much shame when I was younger. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but that's a lot of the stuff that came with it. I think that I think religion there's a lot of dogma that's been attached to religion that I think muddles the fundamental messages of religion, like the fundamental core messages of religion. I think, I don't believe in a devil. Like, I don't believe that there's this malevolent spiritual force that's out trying to tempt people. But if there was a devil, I think the devil's principal goal would be to convince us all, each individually, that we're so awful that God couldn't possibly love us. And so we should just do whatever we want because nothing really means anything and no one's really watching. And God already would be disgusted. And I think there's a metaphor there about relationship and about love. Which is, I think our greatest fear is that if anyone knew us, they wouldn't really love us. Like that I have to pretend to be something better than what I am, because if you saw how flawed I am, you wouldn't love me. But I think what's the most lovely and powerful thing is the thought that if you knew the real me and all the weakness in me and all the darkness in me and all the fear in me, that you might actually love me more. Like, because I know I would love you more. Like, I know when I look at my kids, which I think is why Jesus, if you want to use Jesus as an example, was constantly talking about how God's a good father. Mm-hmm. And that he kept saying, your heavenly father loves you and the kingdom of God is all around you and within you. Because I didn't understand that until I had kids. And then once I had kids, I realized there's just nothing they could ever do that I wouldn't love them anymore. I just love them so much. And even when they make terrible mistakes or I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing or saying what they're saying, I won't ever say you're irredeemable and I don't love you anymore and just get away from me. I could say to them, I don't understand why you're doing what you're doing and it's really hard to be around you right now and I'm not pleased with you. But they know all they'd have to do is come back to me and say, hey, Dad, I'm sorry, I fucked up. And I'd go, it's okay. I forgive you. I love you. You'll never lose my love. I think that's our greatest fear is that if someone knew us, they wouldn't love us. And I think the greatest truth is that actually, I think that the opposite is true. I think the more vulnerable we can be with each other, there's no one in my life who's as hard on me as I am on me. If there was a person in your life who talked to someone you love the way you talk to yourself in your head, you would kick the shit out of that person. If someone came, we're vaguely friends. And if when you were leaving today, you saw someone saying to me, Jim, you were so weak. Like, what is your problem? Like, can't you get your shit together? You would intervene.
Yeah,
you would go, whoa, I don't know what's going on here. Like, don't talk to him that way. There's no reason to talk to another person that way. Like, do you think you're helping him? Do you think he's going to feel better at the end of, like, I don't know what he did, but whatever he did, this isn't helping it. Like, you would come to my defense, because you're a good person and a caring person. Okay. And you would just, even if it was a stranger, if you walked out in the street and you just saw someone just berating someone, you would probably go, hey, whoa. I don't know what's going on, but like, don't do that. There's no need for that. You don't do that for yourself. You don't do that. You talk to yourself brutally. I talk to myself brutally. Like, I'm constantly criticizing myself. There's no one in my life I am harder on than me.
Were your parents hard on you? Or is that just a voice you developed on your own?
My parents were hard on me in the sense that I had to really, really earn any kind of praise. And even then, I was constantly, my accomplishments were diminished.
And how did that affect you later?
It just made me want to work harder and harder and harder to try to accomplish things. But it also made me, I think it made me really uncomfortable with praise or comfort. It made me really uncomfortable with comfort.
What about with women who just loved you for you? Were you more attracted?
I'm terribly uncomfortable with that.
So you would
every woman who's ever been in a relationship with me would say that the worst thing about being in a relationship with me is how I refuse to let anyone do anything for me. I refuse to let anyone be kind to me.
Did you find
because I want to do everything myself.
But personal question. Yeah. Did you find yourself being more attracted to women who were maybe more avoidant or more dismissive of you so that you could earn their love?
No.
Because that's an argument that's made in psychology.
No, it was the opposite. I found myself drawn to birds with broken wings that I could fix and that would need me. But the problem is that they were always women who, and I don't say this disparagingly of them, that needed my help and guidance and strength and dominance to the point where like they were like without me, they would be completely lost. Like they were just like incapable. And I learned that was a very valueless kind of submission, a very valueless, like having a strong, capable woman who lets me do it is much more fulfilling and rewarding and exciting than a woman who couldn't do it herself and needs me to do it for her.
I think a lot of men need to hear that message.
Yeah.
A lot of men need to hear it because, again...
But women need to hear it too.
Women need to hear it too, of course.
Yeah, women need to, but you're absolutely right. Men need to hear that. Like men need to, because you need to understand that you want a woman who is capable, but who like enjoys the dance of you caring for her and you handling something for her that, yes, she could handle on her own. Like, but I want to handle it for you. It makes me happy. Like it makes me satisfied. But you want a
capable woman to let you handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because then it means something.
Thank you. Then it means something.
Well, I mean, I've always said that it's a different metaphor, but I've always said that about violence. Like only men who are capable of violence can be truly peaceful. Everybody else is just scared. Like if you are capable of violence and you choose to be peaceful and kind, like that's a choice. Like if you're incapable of violence, you're not choosing to be peaceful. You're just frightened. Like I trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 20 years now. And some of the men that I train with are just lethal. Like they're special forces, they're FBI SWAT, they're lethal. And they're the gentlest people you've ever met in your life. Like they're the kindest, calmest. They don't have to flex on anybody. If you step on their toe or bump into them and spill their drink, they're like, oh, it's cool. Like they don't have to, they'll apologize like to avoid getting in a confrontation. Like wow. Because they don't have to prove anything to anybody. It's just like really wealthy people don't have to wear like Gucci. Like they don't have to wear Prada. Like I drive a Jeep. Like I drive a Jeep Wrangler. Yeah. Like it's a 2021. Like I just really like it. Like you don't have to flex. Like if you have it, like you don't have to flex it. Like, and so I think that there's something about, not like being a woman who I can't handle things, can you handle them for me, is very different than a woman who leans into, yeah, of course, I'm capable, I'm smart, I could do all kinds of things, but I'm choosing to be with you and it gives you pleasure to do this for me and it gives me pleasure that you want to do it for me. Like, yeah. I mean, there are male and female equivalents of that. Like, you know, it might be a vulgar example, but like a blowjob you have to ask for is not a blowjob. Like anything I have to ask you for, I have to come to you like a beggar with a cup out, isn't really worth anything. Just like if you have to say, do I look pretty in this? It's not really worth anything if I say yes. Like what's meaningful is you walk in and I go, wow. Like, look at you.
Damn, felt good even though it was fake.
Like, that's real. I mean, but it's real.
Still,
like,
you know what I'm saying? It still feels good.
It feels so good when someone authentically gives you what you need without you having to ask for it. Because the having to ask for it part demonstrates that like you don't really know me. You don't really get me. And by the way, it's also something you're giving me because I asked for it, as opposed to I'm giving it to you because I want to give it to you. Your pleasure gives me pleasure. Like that's both of those examples. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like your pleasure gives me pleasure. Your joy gives me joy, which by the way, is an authentic thing. Take the sex out of it. Like we were talking about before we turned the mics on, we were talking about how like in friendship, there's things I'm not into that like, I just get excited around being someone, like I've never played golf in my entire life, but some of my close male friends love golf. And when they talk about golf, or they talk about the Knicks, or they talk about baseball, or something I'm not the slightest bit into, the excitement with which they talk about it, I could listen all day because their excitement is exciting. Their joy gives me joy. Like their joy is like standing next to something warm when you're cold. Like, it's like, oh, it's so nice. Like you're so excited about this. Like it's like watching a little kid with a balloon. Like a kid's so stoked about that balloon. It's amazing. Like, so I think it's the same thing. Like in relationship, like that's what we really want. We want, like you were describing earlier how you love having a crush and how it feels to have a crush.
Love.
But it's also that, like, don't you love how you feel about yourself when you have a crush? And like when you're in those early days of a relationship, it's not just how that person looks to you. It's how you look to you. Like you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, like this person's so into me. Like you feel hot because you feel how hot they see you.
Yes.
Like you see yourself through their eyes. Like they become a mirror or a prism that like drives home this like, and then you become that thing.
What about all those other qualities? Because again, I feel like hot and rich are shoved in everyone's faces all the time.
Yeah.
But how about when a woman tells you like, dude, I love how powerful you are when you're speaking on podcasts, or like, by the way, same thing. It's funny because it's gotten so popular, this this like career girl versus trad wife thing. And it's like, I don't actually think most women feel like they fit in these boxes.
Well, those boxes are the two extremes. Like
they are.
And what we've done is it's like, oh, you're either this or this, and that's it. And those are your only two choices. And if you say anything about I want to be married or I want to have a kid, oh, you're a trad wife. And it's like, you could be an extremely pro-feminist person who wants to be married and have children. Like, just as you could be someone who doesn't want to have children and doesn't and still wants to live like a soft life as someone's supportive other and spouse.
You could be a raging feminist and still be with a guy who pays your bills.
100%.
Like, can we just talk about that?
I'll take it a step further. You can be a really feminist woman who really likes getting thrown around in bed by a dominant man.
Period.
Like
Preach.
100%. And you can be a really pro-feminist guy who respects the autonomy and agency of women and really likes throwing women around in bed. Like, trust me. So I really believe that we've created this false dichotomy where but fundamentally, actually, what feminism was always about was the liberation of men and women from the rigidity of gender roles. Mm-hmm. It was about the liberation of men as much as women. It was about the idea that you don't have to be this or this. You can be all of these things in some combination. And by the way, you can move through them at different stages in life. You can have a stage in life where you're very, very hypersexual as a woman or as a man. And then you can have a stage where you go, yeah, I'm done with all of that. And now I'd really like to find deep connection with another person. Like, you can do that. Like, I don't buy the whole body count discourse that's out there about because men very often have to go on a journey of discovery, just as women do, to figure out that the path to excess leads to the palace of wisdom sometimes. Sometimes you have to, make terrible decisions to go, wow, that was a really empty path. Hedonism is not the path. Hedonism is not the place I want to be. And the only way to do it, just like you have to sometimes become very materialistic to realize that material pleasure is not something that's going to really give you lasting joy.
Yeah.
You have to do that first. I was convinced growing up without money that if I got money, I would have all the things I didn't have. I would have security, stability, peace, inner calm. I wouldn't be scared. I would feel worthy. And then I got money, and I just had money. I was as insecure, frightened as I ever was, but I just had a bunch of money. And by the way, money can't buy happiness, but it will upgrade your despair. It was a much nicer, but it's much nicer to be sad in a penthouse.
For sure. But
the truth is, if you have a choice between being sad in a penthouse or happy in a small place, you'll probably rather be happy in a smaller place. Joy is really what we're all shooting for. But sometimes you have to take these wrong turns. You have to go to the place to figure out this isn't the place. You have to order the meal to figure out that's not what's going to taste good for you right now. And that's okay. We have to give ourselves and each other the grace to make those mistakes and then find redemption. And I believe that that's out there for all of us. But again, we just have to try. We have to give each other that attempt at understanding. But this whole trad wife discourse or girl boss discourse is such garbage. It's pro wrestling. It's characters. we put up these fake characters so that we can present. Look at this. I represent a ton of girl bosses. I represent a ton of trad wives. I represent a ton of ultra alpha males. And I represent a bunch of beta males and a bunch of very soft males. It's all those extremes are just a path to unhappiness. The really interesting, happy people have all kinds of, they're a perfect union of contrary things. They have all of these things in them, and they're very, there's not a lot of continuity to their personality. There's a lot of discordant elements, and that's how you know it's authentic.
Yeah, I think people are so attractive when they embody, a man or a woman, their femininity and their masculinity. Yeah. I put them in quotes just because those words.
No, you should. You should put them in quotes.
I should put them in quotes, right?
I was at Gloria I had the honor of being at Gloria Steinem's apartment for a conversation that Danielle Robay helped make happen. And there was a lot of discourse about the discussion was supposed to be about masculinity. And I got there and there were 30 people there and 3 of us were men. And so it was 27 women and 3 men in a conversation about masculinity. So I read the room and I was like, okay, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Because if I start talking, I'm going to get accused of mansplaining, which would be funny to be accused of mansplaining masculinity. But okay, I'm going to be quiet so that no one accuses me of overtaking the discourse. And I sat for the first hour and a half just listening to a bunch of women tell me about what masculinity is. And then Danielle, God bless her, went, I'd like to hear what Jim has to say about that.
Smart.
And gave me an entry point. And now that I had permission, I was like, okay. And then what I just said is I said, look, I'm really just fuzzy. We keep talking about masculinity and femininity, but every time you talk about masculinity, it's got the word toxic in front of it. And all of the things you're talking about in femininity are all very positive things. So could someone just explain to me what is non-toxic masculinity?
Great question.
Crickets in the room. Crickets, dead silence.
Wow, this is so important.
And I just sat there and was like, okay, so anything I say masculinity is, we're going to have, and so then they said, well, what would you consider to be masculinity? And I said, I wasn't the one who used the term, but if you asked me what are masculine traits, I would say the desire to protect. I think that's a masculine trait. But then it turned into, well, women want to protect it. Okay. So then you're the ones using terms like masculinity and femininity. And Gloria, 90-something years old, pipes up and says, yeah, I think that's the problem with these terms. These are human traits.
Period.
These are human traits.
Period.
And maybe they cluster in some cultures in men or women for biological reasons, cultural reasons, or some combination of the two. But these are human traits we all have in varying measure, right? And we know there are some that cluster in men and there are some that cluster in women. Like, it's not scandalous to say that. And by the way, we know that there are some men who have what is traditionally referred to as a lot of feminine traits and a lot of women that have what is traditionally referred to as a lot of masculine traits. All these are is human traits that cluster in various places. We have to stop with all this masculine and feminine. So I understand. Listen, Wittgenstein said, where understanding fails, a word comes to take its place. Like, so we want to put words for these things. Like, there's a concept we're trying to describe, and so we call it a thing. But like all feminism, for lack of a better term, was designed to be, was the liberation of men and women from the rigidity of these concepts of masculine and feminine. That like a man had to be Clint Eastwood or Richard Simmons. Like, and a woman had to be a girl boss or a trad wife. Like that, those are unfair things. Like, it's unfair to say a man has to be Jocko Willenick or Bowen Yang. Those are like your two choices.
Yeah.
Like, that's unfair. By the way, both great people that I have tremendous respect for. Like, and saying that a woman has to either be a trad wife or a girl boss, like, that feels unfair to me. Like, I think we have elements of both of those things in us in different measure. I know lots of women that are very career driven, very goal oriented. I know lots of women that are not, that are very much into art or music or family or just living their lives in more, soft ways. And I know men that are very hard charging like me and very driven. And I know men that are very like artistic and soft and they want to raise children and they want to, and none of us are right. None of us are wrong.
Agree.
Like, and we all have pieces of us that want to do all, like, my favorite thing in the world are some of my like badass, just murderer jujitsu buddies who have daughters. Because until you've seen a guy who's like a lethal black belt who could bench press a car, like doing his daughter's hair with the most attentive care, like, that's the most beautiful thing in the world.
Period. Yeah.
It's the most beautiful thing in the world to me. Like, to see a man who's so embodied in his masculinity and his frame that he's like, yeah, it's my little girl. Like, of course I'm going to be silly with her. Of course I'm going to play games with her.
Yeah.
Like, what a beautiful, lovely thing. But what is it? That's a man who's strong enough to do that. Like, he's not going to be like, no, I'm doing that. Like, that's an insecure man. It's like all the men I know that are like wildly homophobic, almost every single one of them, I'm like, there's some latency thing going on with you, buddy. Because like no heterosexual man that I know who's comfortable in his heterosexuality is threatened by gay men. Like, there's no part of me that goes like, oh, I can't be around those gay men. Like, I might be tempted. Like, that's insane. Like, it's like ridiculous. Like, it's so a lot of that has to do with like where you are insecure, where you're afraid. And again, I think a lot of this trad wife, girl boss thing, like, it's women being cruel to women. A lot of this men, criticizing each other, calling each other gay or whatever. Like, it's just men being insecure. Like, this is all born of our insecurities. People who are in their authentic self, they're not, just like, by the way, couples who are genuinely happy are just being happy. Yeah. They're not posting it on Instagram. Like, I can't tell you how many people come into my office and I just saw they're like #blessed, best husband ever. And meanwhile, they're cheating on each other or they're fucking miserable, but they're performing for the audience. And then the rest of us are comparing our relationship to that performative bullshit relationship.
That's another big problem is I think a lot of us are performing our lives and not living them.
We're cosplaying our relationships.
It's crazy.
We're cosplaying our lives.
Yeah.
Like, we're comparing ourselves to people that don't actually look like that. Like, they're photoshopped. Like, they're not even real. They have filters. That's not a real fucking person. Compare yourself to real people. Like, I had this conversation with my younger son when he was a bit younger, and he and I were at a difficult point in our relationship. And he was like talking about the ways that, I could have been a better dad or I wasn't a better dad. And I was like, wait, what are you comparing me to like a real dad that you've met? Like, because if you're comparing me to your like imaginary perfect father, I'm going to compare you to my imaginary perfect son. And we're both going to be really unhappy, right? And by the way, this is a good lesson to learn because someday you marry a woman, if you compare her to your imaginary perfect wife, you're going to be fucking miserable. And if she compares you to her imagined perfect man, you're going to fail her. Like, we're real people. We're going to mess it up sometimes. We're going to have insecurities and flaws. We're going to hurt ourselves and each other sometimes. And part of the beauty of being in love is like, you don't have to be perfect. Like, you don't have to be perfect for me. You're perfect in your imperfection. So you're already perfect. Like, you can be flawed for me and it's okay. I'll love you anyway. And I'm going to be flawed sometimes and you'll love me anyway. And we're both going to feel safe. Like, that's the thing. Like, everything you're describing about like your fear of these things is you don't feel safe. You can't feel like, one of the things I learned representing victims of domestic violence, you can't feel loved if you don't feel safe. The most important thing to feel in a relationship is safe. Like, my heart is safe and my body is safe around you. Like, my heart, you want to feel safe around me. I want to feel safe around you. That might be defined differently. You want to feel physically safe. I want to feel emotionally safe. I want to feel like I can be vulnerable and I won't lose your respect. You won't, like that masculinity in me that you find so appealing. If I tell you I'm terrified, that you won't lose respect for me. That in fact, you'll go, it's okay to be terrified. That's why it's so brave. Like, that you're frightened and you're going to do it anyway. Like, I'm so proud of you for that. What a gift you would give to me to say that to me. Like, what a gift that is to hear from another person. Like, and I find myself, one of the things I found very helpful in my own life and my own therapy, it was a gift that a therapist gave to me once. After my mom passed away about 10 years ago, there's a lot of things I wanted to say to her that I didn't get to say, and that I wished she'd been able to say to me, and she didn't. We never got to say to each other. And I remember talking to this therapist about how I had these feelings of regret and pain about that. And she said, do me a favor. She said, write a letter to your mom and tell her all the things you need to tell her. So I did. Like, I wrote this long letter to her. I read it out loud to my therapist, crying like a little kid. And it was very healing and therapeutic. And then she gave me the really hard assignment. And she said, now I want you to write a letter back from her to you. And I want you to say all the things you need to hear from her. All the things you wish she would say to you. And so I did. And it was the hardest thing to do. Because I had to really confront, like, what was I missing? What did I need from her? What is it I wanted to hear from her? But in doing it, I realized, like, oh, I know all those things. Like, I know the answers. Like, she didn't have to say them out loud. Like, I know them. The reason I bring this up to you is that I think in relationship, like, if you wrote a letter to, like, your future partner of, like, here's all the things that I'm afraid of when it comes to you. Here's all the things that I want from you. Like, I think there's value in defining things.
You think we should write it down?
Yeah, I think you should write it down. And then I think the hard step is, what would that person say to you? What did they want from you? What does it cost you? What's holding them back from approaching you? Like, and I think that sometimes the wisdom we find on mountaintops is the wisdom we brought up there. Like, we all want to believe there's an answer and that someone has it. And if we buy their course or we go to their seminar or we read their book, they're going to give it to us. And Jack Kerouac, I think in the Dharma Bums, said, there ain't no answer. There ain't ever going to be an answer. That's the answer. Like, that's the answer. The answer is that there's never been an answer. Like, so if you can confront the questions in your heart, right? And you can say, like, what is it you need to hear from this? Like, take a person you have unresolved conflict with in your life and write a letter to them. You're never going to give it to them. Write it to them. And then read it out loud to another person. And then write a letter back from that person where they say all the things that you needed to hear to heal. What is it you needed to hear from them? I fucked up. I fucked up because I was insecure and I was scared. And that's why I hurt you. And I really am not the person I thought I was, and I couldn't handle the things that, like, whatever it is you need to hear from, because what you're going to find is you actually have the answer inside of you. You know these things. You know the things you need to know. Like, the wisdom that you need is inside of you.
So you're saying we give ourselves that closure?
I think that's the only closure you'll ever find, is the closure that's inside of you. I don't think that there is so little outside of yourself that can heal you. There is so little outside of yourself that can comfort you. Like so much of what you're looking for is inside of you. I think almost everything you're looking for is inside of you. And once you find that, I think that's the unlock. That I think not only do you find really profound joy and fulfillment in your life, but I think you can find deep connection with another person if you find that unlock in yourself.
What's the difference between a person who has not had that unlock and is out searching for love and a person who has resolved that and is out there in the world?
I think there are two states that we're operating from at all times. We're either on the get or in the have. Like on the get is I want something from you. And in the have is I have what I need. And I think in every interaction, we're on the get or in the have or some combination of the two. And so I think the more that you're in the have, the less you're on the get. And I think a lot of what happens in our searching for connection with another person is we are pretending to be in the have when we're really on the get. We're pretending to be in the have as a way to be on the get. Instead of being honest with ourselves that I'm on the get right now. Like, because we're all on the get at some point.
So if we're on the get, is our job then to be in the have? And then
I don't know that it is. I think it's just to accurately identify what you're feeling in any particular moment. Like, I think you feel what you feel. You can wish you felt something different, but you feel what you feel. Like, I think we live in our feelings and we live in our imagination. Like, most of the things that we experience in life are in our imagination. Like, the future is entirely in our imagination. Like, it's just completely made up. It hasn't happened yet. And the past is a combination of what actually happened and the way we remember it. So it's another form of imagination. So the only thing that's real is the present.
Right. I think most people, I mean, even when they do have a crush on someone, they're fantasizing about a fake version of a relationship, and that's giving them.
And by the way, what a fun thing to do.
Yeah,
like, what a fun thing to do. It's so fun.
It is.
Like, I mean, half of the fun of sex is like the desire and the imagination of it. Like, the actual friction part's really fun, but like a lot of it's the like desire and the building of tension, and then the afterwards, the sort of connection and feeling of like, you know, sort of satisfaction with each other and warmth. Like, these are all, but like the truth is, like, when you remember the most like sexual, wonderful experiences of your life, you're not remembering the moment of orgasm. You're usually remembering some weird detail, like the way that the light hit somebody, or the way their hair fell down, or like the way sweat kind of came off their neck, or something. Like, you're remembering some little thing that was like so passionate, you know, like, and very unique to that moment. Like, it's because why? It's not the thing, it's the thing under the thing. Like, it's always like, I do that for a living. Like, people come in and they're like, I want 50-50 custody. No, you don't. Like, no normal person goes, I had 48% of the time with my kids this week. It was unsatisfactory. I need 2% more. No one analyzes their children that way. What you mean when you say I want 50-50 custody is I don't want to be a second-class parent. I don't want to be like a fun parent that just like hangs out with the kids. I want to do the heavy lifting and the fun part. Like, I want to be a full parent. I don't want to be a second-class parent. Okay, that makes sense to me. Right? Like, what's the thing under the thing? It's not about the pasta. Like, what is it that you're really upset about? Like, what is really going on? It's the thing under the thing. And so that's what a lot, like the on the get and in the have, like that whole concept is like, no, what are you feeling right now? Like, I think I've been in therapy a long time. I think the only valid question to be asking in therapy is, what am I afraid to feel? What is it I don't want to feel? That's what everything in therapy is what is it I don't want to feel? What's addiction, by the way? Addiction to exercise, food, sex, drugs, alcohol.
A lack of connection?
A lack of connection, but also, what can I do to get away from feeling what I would have felt if I hadn't done anything at all? Like, why do we pick up our phone? Because I don't like how I feel if I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, I want to know that someone has contacted me.
I want to feel part of something, right? Just what you said, connection. I feel disconnected, right? Like, as opposed to using that as an opportunity to deeply connect to yourself, right? Like, to me, a lot of this is about how can I get away from feeling what it is I don't want to feel, as opposed to being brave enough to confront what is it I don't want to feel. Like, when you say to me, I'm afraid, in relationship. I'm afraid to trust a person. I'm afraid to even say to a guy, I like you. Why? What are you afraid of?
Rejection.
Great. So you know that. Like that's a superpower that you're afraid of rejection.
Is it?
You've been rejected before, right?
I think everyone has. Yeah, I have.
And it hurt.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So you don't want that pain again. It's not even rejection. It's the pain of that rejection. What is it about that rejection that hurts so much? Is it that it makes you feel like you're less than and worthy of that rejection, and it makes you view yourself differently, and that hurts? Does it remind you of a rejection that you felt in some other relationship, like your mom or your dad or someone else? Like, this is what therapy is supposed to be, is like, what am I really afraid of? Because the answer, you'll be shocked, and I say this as a 53-year-old man who's been in therapy for a long time, you'd be shocked of how much of my therapy, at the end of the conversation, I go, wow, so that's like 7-year-old Jim talking? And she's like, oh yeah. And I go, you're telling me like an incredibly successful, accomplished 53-year-old man still has a 7-year-old yelling in his ear going, why doesn't my mom like me more?
Running the show.
Yeah. Because the truth is, like, feelings are like little kids. You can't let them drive the car, but you can't shove them in the trunk either. Like, you have to attend to them. Like you have to look at what's the real thing. Because it's too easy to just go, well, it's fear of rejection, right? But why does rejection hurt? Like, why does rejection hurt? Like, who cares? Like, if somebody doesn't, you can be the sweetest, ripest peach in the world. Somebody just doesn't like peaches. Like, it's okay. What the fuck's that have to do with you? Like, nothing to do with you. So what is it really? Why does it hurt? It's the pain. Why does the pain hurt? Because it reminds me of something. What does it remind you of? That's the thing worth talking about. That's the thing worth learning. Because once you learn that, that's when I think you're much more in the half. That's when because you're not chasing these surrogate things. Like the money thing, it's like everybody knows this. Like you're like, you see the guy driving like the fancy car, like all I can think is like, I'm sorry about your penis. Like, really? Like, I'm sorry that your mom didn't love you more. I don't know. Like, what that's about some other thing. Like, that's about some other thing. Like, unless you're like really a car person, like some people are car people. But like, the truth is like most people, it's like, see how valuable I am? You see how valuable I am? Please tell me I'm valuable. Like, okay. Like, you don't even have to have that for me to tell you that. Like, I'll just tell you that. Like, you don't like being told you're beautiful. Like, really being told you're beautiful is just being told you have value. You're loved. You're worthy of love. Like, you're important. You're not unimportant. Like, that's what matters. Like, what's the thing under the thing? Like, my job as a person who manipulates people's emotional state for a living is to figure out what's under the thing. What is it you really want? Because the truth is for my job, that's the lever. Like, I want to find the lever, but you can use that in your own relationship to yourself or in your relationship to other people. Like, I want to know your levers because I don't want to hurt you. Like, I care about you. I want you to be happy. If I can help make you happy, that's a nice thing. That'll make me happy, So why can't we use those powers that way? Like, why can't we just do that for each other and radiate that for each other without expectation? Without the sense that like, I'm going to do this for you, so you'll do it back for me. Like, there's value in that. Like, I'll rub your back and then you can rub mine. Like, that's nice. But like, maybe if it's just, I'm going to rub your back because it makes me happy to rub your back. Because like, you like that. Like, and it makes you happy and it makes me happy that you get happy. Like, wow, isn't that lovely? And maybe you feel that way about me sometimes. And that's a lovely thing. Like, that's what connection is about. And that's what real love is supposed to be. And that's what, again, a good parent feels towards their child. A loving, trusting child feels towards their parent. Like, and that's the wound we're all trying to navigate our way through.
As you're talking, I feel like you're giving such good advice about what to do when you're in the relationship. And again, I feel like for most of us, the hard part is the friction of when you're dating. I know that sounds weird, but remember when we were talking about the Me Too thing? Yeah. And how men stopped approaching women. And I asked you, well, then should we start approaching? And you said no. But then remember, it's like in the past, women would drop the handkerchief. Right. What? So can you?
Well, I think that's creating an opportunity or an invitation.
Okay.
And I think there's a difference between that and approaching.
Okay. So tell me what the difference is.
Well, one is again, I hate to use masculine and feminine, but one is a more aggressive approach to things. Like you coming up to me and saying, hey, I couldn't help but notice you. And I wanted to just say hello. Like that's a very traditionally masculine kind of an approach. Now, again, it might be correct. It might be a fine thing to do, but a woman can do that, send that exact same message with a look or a smile.
Yeah.
Like if you're across from me and I look over and we do this and you hold eye contact with me for a second and then you look back down and then you look back up and you give me like a little like this. Okay. You just said the equivalent of a novel. Like, okay. Or if you say to me like, oh, I really like your tattoos. Okay. You just said a whole thing to me. Like, because you wouldn't, like, that's an invitation. That's, you just dropped the handkerchief. Like you just dropped the handkerchief. Like that, the most common handkerchief drop I get from women is they comment on my tattoos or they like my suit. Like it's always some comment on something external.
And that's enough to be an invitation.
That's enough for me to know you're engaging me. And now it's on me to move that engagement forward if I want to. Like, and if that's, because you wouldn't have, would you have invited that engagement with a man you had no interest in interacting with?
Hell no.
Hell no. Like you wouldn't hold eye contact with him and you were going to look down. If you see he's looking at you, you're not going to look back up at him again. So we know the indicators of interest. Like we know what they look like in each other.
Okay. How about, because look at your screen time. Okay. We are living half in the real world and half on our phones.
What's this we shit? I'm not.
What is the, you're not, but I'm saying, saying so many culturally we are.
Yes.
Culturally, we are.
Yes.
So what's the digital equivalent of the stare and the smile?
I don't think there is one. I think that's a fallacy. I think we have to get off of these fucking devices and get back in the real world. We have to get back in rooms with each other. Like, you're not going to fuck on a computer or on a phone. Like, you got to be in a room with a person. So I'm not saying we should all start fucking, although, there's worse activities. I think we should start being in rooms with each other.
Yeah.
Again. Like, that's a great start. Like, I genuinely think if we had like periods of time where we were just phone free, like we went into event spaces without fucking phones, if there were bars where you're not allowed to have a phone, like I'd go to that bar. Like, I have your full attention. Like, I have your full, like, I have to say something. And again, I'm guilty of this as anybody. I'm not speaking from a high horse. I learned a few years ago with my sons that, and the way I learned it is that I had it done to me. So my older son is a lawyer and we've always been very close. And I was always like, I'm constantly getting text messages and emails from clients, like at all hours. And I'm constantly very responsive to my clients. So I would be like having dinner with my son when he first got out of college. He was in law school. And I would be like talking to him, but then on the phone and go, I'd do a thing for a minute. And then I go back to this thing. And he kind of have like half of my attention most of the time. And then he graduated from law school and he became a lawyer and he got engaged. Now he's married.
Congrats.
And he started doing that to me. Like we'd be out to dinner together and he would be, yeah. And I was like, oh, Jesus, is that what that feels like? And I learned from it. And I was like, okay, when I'm with him, I'm putting my phone down. Like, I'm not even going to look at it. Just like in this conversation, I haven't looked at my phone for however long we've been talking to each other. When I say to you, it radically transformed the nature of our relationship. Because also when he picked up his phone, then I would just stop talking and I'd go, no, do what you have to do. And I'd let him do what he had to. But it became like, no, we're not going to do this while you're on your phone. Like when we're together, we're going to be, and I'm not judging him. I wasn't like, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
It was just, I'm not going to touch my phone. You have my full attention. And I will tell you, by the way, I have learned in my interactions with women in a romantic context, a woman would rather have 3 hours of my undivided attention than a day of me sort of paying attention and sort of also being on my phone.
Absolutely.
Like a woman would rather have an hour where she is the only thing in the world than a day where she's sort of like got half my attention. Like, and I'm telling you, I think we as humans, we have lost something because of all these digital connections. Like, I think that we have to get back into the real world. And the way to do it is to start with yourself. Like, to really start in your relationships, just put it down. Like, next time you're out with a friend who's one of those phone people, put your phone down And then every time they pick up their phone, just stop talking and go, no, if you have to do what you have to do. Because it starts to create in them, no, I'm just fucking around. Oh, okay. Well, whenever you're done, we'll.
Yeah.
Like, and it just makes them realize like, oh, I'm being really fucking rude right now.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm not even here.
It makes them realize I'm not present. Like what people genuinely, like, why is this interesting? Like, I don't know how long we've been talking. I have no idea. It could be an hour. It could be 3 hours at this point. I have no idea. There's a clock over there. I haven't looked at it
I haven't either.
Because I'm paying attention to you. And doesn't that feel good?
Yeah.
And don't you feel present and engaged? And don't you feel connected to me? And we're going to walk out of this conversation with a much deeper connection to each other than we had when we sat down. Okay. Why can't we cultivate that in all of our relationships by doing exactly this? Like, you don't have to have the microphones. You don't have to have any of this stuff. We can just connect to each other. And if, by the way, you picked up your phone in the middle of this conversation, I would have been, okay, like she must be having something to attend to. So attend to that thing and then come back to this. Like, I'm telling you that there is not a way to do that in the digital world. And that's okay. Like, I'm not saying, by the way, you got to be a Luddite and get rid of your phone. Like, I love my phone. I love all the stuff on it. I love being able to connect with people, like in the ways that but real connection, like deep interpersonal connection, you're going to find it on your fucking phone. Like, I'm not going to have a conversation with you via text either. Like, texting is for, I'm on my way. I'm 5 minutes away. I got here safely. Had a great time. Thanks so much. That's what texting is for. It's not for, listen, I've been thinking about our relationship and I think it's important that we should, that's not for text. I know that's a very old man thing to say, but I'll live with that.
No, I love it. It just made me think about how also not very many people call anymore.
I know. Isn't that weird?
I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, but I get it. Like that there's this weird, once we get in a habit of doing something, we're in that habit, you know, and anything other than it seems weird. Like, what were we just talking about like why we're all in therapy? Like it's, you know, whoever discovered water, it wasn't a fish. Like if you grow up in an environment where your opinion is invalidated, you start to think your opinion's not valid, or you feel like you want to shout your opinion all the time so that someone will hear you. Like we're creatures of our environment. If everyone around us is on their phone, we're on our phone. You know, if no one around you is on your phone, you stop being on your phone. Like we're adaptive animals. Like, and that's a good thing. Like embrace that. But just realize it's a superpower too. Like you don't have to be defined by these things. You can change. You can stop doing this. Like you can do it differently. You can just wake up tomorrow and stop doing it that way and do it a different way. And even say to other people in your life, yeah, I'm making a conscious decision to do it differently. Like I just think these phones are going to be the fucking death of us. And I think it would just be better if we all just like had a little time. I'm trying to do one, like I personally on Saturdays don't use my phone. Period.
Wow.
I just don't. It's like Shabbos. Like I'm
like
I'm like Shomer Shabbos. Like
yeah.
I'm just straight up like, yeah, I'm not doing it. Like I'm not using digital devices. Like I even now have got to the point where I used to use my Kindle for reading. I used to use my iPad with the Kindle app. And then I realized it was too tempting to hit my Gmail and see if any emails had come in.
So you got the Kindle.
So I got a Kindle. And now I just use the Kindle. Or I've even sometimes now just get like an actual book. And I like just read an actual paper book. And it's like really liberating to not be on your phone for a day. Like, and I think, again, like to a person with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Like, I don't get mad at anybody for like, hey, we all got these cool toys. So we wanted to play with the new toys. But then you figure out it's just a fucking new toy. Like, it's not the answer. Like, it's not going to be your liberation. Like, it creates a bunch of new problems. Like, and they're not real problems. Like, you can get rid of them. Like, your grandmother didn't have the problem of she's addicted to her phone.
No.
Yeah.
Do you think dating apps have hurt us?
Yeah, I think dating apps have amplified the wrong signal. Like, they've created the impression or amplified the reality that we have an almost unlimited amount of choice. And they're also gamed in the wrong direction, which is that women get a tremendous amount of validation and attention, and a very small percentage of men get a tremendous amount of attention. And in those men, it tends to create a sense that they're entitled to a massive amount of sexual variety, and the other group of men that aren't getting attention become resentful. And in women, because they're all competing for the same very small group of men who now have learned that they have a massive amount of novelty available to them, women go, oh, well, men are all blah, 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 blah. But it's no, a small subset of highly attractive, desirable men who have a massive number of mating choices available to them are not particularly interested in being monogamous. That's not really shocking. Like,
I think, I mean, of course we see this. A lot of women are trying to get those guys to be monogamous. Is that not going to happen?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, or if you are going to get that guy to be monogamous, you're going to have to bring something to that transaction that's incredibly unique.
Like, and it can't be just hot.
No, there's a lot of hot women. Like
I was going to say, I know so many.
And then there's a whole crop of younger ones that are rapidly becoming hot and don't have to do anything to be. Like there's a 19-year-old right now who's waking up just so hot, male or female. Like youth is fucking gorgeous. Like they're just gorgeous. Like when you're young, you don't appreciate how fortunate you are that you just are gorgeous. Like I saw it with my sons. Like my sons had natural 8-packs and could eat an entire pizza. Like if I walk past a pizza place and smell the pizza the next day, my suits don't fit. Like, but they're young. They have the metabolism of an 18-year-old. Like, of course, like so if the best thing you have is that you're hot, you're fucked. Like you're absolutely, I mean, you can try to cash in while you can kind of thing, which is like weird. It's like riding a stock, like, you know, and I guess you could do that. Like there's day traders that make money, but most people lose money. And the same thing with the hot thing. Like it's not the best thing to lead with. Now, again, hot, you know, you can add to that. But to try to like, you know, it's the old saying of like, why would you try to turn a hoe into a housewife? Well, why would you like trying to turn a player or a playboy into like a house husband? Like it's probably not going to work because that guy's had a tremendous amount of sexual novelty available to him. And again, unless he's reached the unique place where he's now realized, hey, novelty isn't really what I want depth of connection. The problem is most men who have a tremendous amount of sexual novelty are smart enough to figure out that that's what women want to hear is that, well, I've had a lot of novelty, but now I really want depth of connection. And
I think they use that to get.
Of course they do. Yeah. Why wouldn't they? Like, of course they do. Like, and women use their things too.
What have you seen?
That women use?
Yeah.
Women use the I'm not materialistic. I'm not the slightest bit interested in money. It really is just, yes, does it happen to be that I've dated men with money? Of course, but it's because they're ambitious. It's the ambition that I'm driven to. It's not the money. Like, yes, I wear nice things, but it's because I like nice quality things. I was raised that way. But the truth is I would be very happy to have none of that stuff. I'd be very happy to have a very small wedding. Like, do I in fact want to have a huge wedding? Maybe. But you know, the truth is it's really more about depth of connection. Like we all have bullshit stories we tell ourselves and other people, you know, and that's okay. Like most of the time, we're just telling them to other people. The biggest danger is when you start to believe your own bullshit and you actually think, oh yeah, no. Like I know men that legitimately will say like, no, man, I really want depth of connection now. And I'm like, then why are you running around with all of these like Instagram models? Like you really want depth of connection. Do you think Miami's where you're going to find it? Like that doesn't seem real to me, man. Like it seems like you want to be someone who wants that, which is in and of itself admirable. It's a start. It's not the finish line. It's a start. Like if a man says, I'm starting to feel like this is not it, all of that. Okay, that's a start. Like what you're saying is, I think I want to feel differently about this. Okay, there's some miles between that and I'm now ready for relationship. Like, are you ready to turn down an attractive woman who's offering you no strings attached sex?
Which, by the way, to be clear, most of these guys are getting.
100%.
Thank you.
I'm sleeping alone tonight by choice. Like, that's reality. You are too. Like, so it's not like we can't get laid, right? So you're making a choice. Now, again, is this person making a choice out of convenience or are they making a choice out of commitment? Like, no, I've decided I want something deeper. Like, I've decided I don't want to sleep with someone until I've found depth of connection with them. I don't want to sleep with someone who I'm not going to be in a relationship with.
I have a question. Is that the correct approach? Do you think when we start getting to know someone, because obviously most people start a relationship on the wrong foundation. If I were to start by being like, okay, I want to be with a billionaire, which I don't.
Sure.
I actually don't even want the problems that come along. I know what that is and I don't want it. That would obviously be the wrong foundation. The same way a guy who's like, I want a smoke show Instagram model. I mean, I just don't think that's a good place to start. So where do you start? How do you filter? How do you, go through this in the beginning stages?
I think, of course, in romantic relationship, you want some spark of connection and some desire, right?
Yeah.
Like desire is a huge piece of it. I mean, it's what separates a roommate from a spouse or a partner. So I don't discount that you should have some depth of attraction.
Of course.
But, you know, my personal philosophy when it comes to dating and sex is you only get the chance to do something the first time, one time, right? Like there's something really, really special and beautiful about getting to do something for the first time, discovering something that you didn't do before, right? So I'm a fan, and maybe I'm old-fashioned in that way. Like I'm a fan of the bases. Like I'm a fan of like, you know, like first base was kissing, second base was like, you know, under the shirt maybe, you know, third base. Like, so I think there was like something about like the gradual revealing of one's sexuality and one's desire and
over
connection,
time.
Not as like a reward punishment cycle, but as a savoring. Like if you put a beautiful meal in front of me and I just, you know, just like shove it down because I just want to fill the hunger in me. Like I want to like savor every bite of this meal. Like, and that's what I think sexual desire was supposed to be at its best. Like, and in a way that like builds real connection and lovely memories, like is that feeling of like the first time we touched, the first time we held hands, the first time we kissed, the first time we kissed passionately, the first time we, you know, felt that like real pull of like, oh my God, this is like going somewhere. Like each of those steps, like, yeah, of course, is there a temptation to do all of them in one night? Sure. Right. Just like there's a temptation to wolf down the entire chocolate cake. But like, is that going to make you feel good at the end? Like, and you just wolf this whole thing down. Like, and you could have, like, it's like binge watching a TV show. Like, of course, I understand you want to know what happens next, but like, isn't it kind of fun to be like, oh my God, tonight I'm going to watch another episode of that. Like I let the sixth episode of the most recent Love on the Spectrum, I would not let myself have it. Like I let it sit there for weeks until finally I was like, all right, I've got like a bunch of time. I got a box of tissues and some food. Let's do this, you know? And I was like, but I really like, because I didn't want it to be over.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't want it to be over yet. Like I really wanted to like savor every morsel of it, you know? And I think that when sex and desire is openly presented that way, as like, hey, let's savor every bite of this. It's not about I'm keeping this from you. You're not worthy of it yet. You haven't earned it. Ain't that bullshit. It's about like, yeah, we could fuck right now. It'll be amazing. But like, don't we want to like savor every bite of this? Like, don't you want to just like lose track of time and just like really be in this together? And like, don't you want to go home with a little like unfulfilled desire and like be a little hungry and be like, God, I should have fucking kissed you. Like, you know, like that feeling of like, oh my God, you know, like that gratification. I mean, what is dopamine, right? Like the more they study dopamine, they're learning that dopamine is actually not about pleasure. It's about craving. And it's about the satisfaction of craving. Like how does one, like I was a smoker many, many years ago. I quit 20 plus years ago. But what you start to figure out when you're trying to quit smoking is that it's not that nicotine feels good. It's that stopping the withdrawal you're feeling from nicotine feels good. So it's getting rid of the craving you've created for nicotine that feels so good.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like you have to crave in order to satisfy your craving. So like I think cultivation of craving is what we've been talking about all along. What is the dropping of the handkerchief or that little look? It's cultivating a craving in me. And then there's this like, okay, let's cultivate craving in each other, you know? And I think that's the dance that everybody wants to do.
Yeah, at least initially.
I think the longer you can sustain that, the better. I think that if you can be in a long-term relationship where you still are trying to like cultivate craving in each other, like, I think there's something really rewarding about cultivating craving in another person. Like, even if it's never going to be satisfied, even if it's never going to be fulfilled, there's something I think very enjoyable about like, no, I'm going to try to connect to you and turn you on. And you're going to try to connect to me and turn me on. Like, and I don't know that just because you've had something, my favorite places to eat, like I could eat there all the time and I'd still find it very satisfying. Like I've had the same smoothie for breakfast every day for the last like 15 years. I still fucking love it. Like every single day I look forward to it. Every day it tastes good. Like because it's good. Like, and I still crave it because it's good. Like, so if something's good, and that's the conversation is like, how do we cultivate craving in each other if we're in a relationship? How do we keep that there? When we start to feel it slip, can we just point out like, you know, hey, something shifted. Like, what can we do for each other to like cultivate that in each other? Instead of coming from a place of like, oh, I don't owe him that. You're right. You don't owe anybody anything. We don't owe each other anything. Like, we don't have to be together. Nobody has to be together. Like, you can live this whole life by yourself if you want to. Like, but you've made a choice. You want to be in a relationship. You want to be in a relationship. You want to be in a good one or a shitty one? You want to be in a good one? Okay, then cultivating desire with your partner and keeping it there is important and difficult, you know? But I don't think it's as difficult as we think it is.
What does the pressure around weddings do to women psychologically? Because I'm a Persian Jew. And so I don't know if you know about our community, but we throw extremely lavish weddings. And I know that's, you know, girls dream about these weddings.
Sure.
So
weddings are great. Like weddings are.
I love them.
I do too. I mean, my son just got married in September. So I loved it. It was so much fun. It was just such a beautiful celebration of so many things. I got to experience it as a father and it felt like a finish line of sorts. I managed to keep it together for the entire of the ceremony. And my son read his vows. They wrote their own vows. Mm-hmm. And he was reading his vows to her. They're law school sweethearts. They're both lawyers. And I managed to get through his vows, no problem, sitting there, you know, listening to him talk about, you know, you're so wonderful. You're a great cat mom. You're the best. You know, you're this, blah, blah, blah. And then she read her vows to my son. And she was like, you're the strongest man I know. You're the best man I've ever met. Like, I feel so safe when I'm with you. And I just remember like thinking like, oh, like this is like a finish line of sorts. Like I helped make this man, like a man that this beautiful, young, smart, amazing woman looks at and says, you're the best man. Like, and I taught him that the cow says moo. You know, like I taught him like he's my little guy, you know, he's 6'4". He's not little. He's bigger than me. But like it was a celebration of that whole journey. My mom obviously passed away some years ago. So we had a picture of her on a table. And I thought to myself, like, God, she would love being here. My younger son was there and he brought a date. And my ex-wife was there and all her brothers who I hadn't seen in many years. And like, we all were just celebrating as a family. And it was one of just the nicest moments of my life. And so I think weddings are amazing.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing about them is they're an opportunity to celebrate like your connection to the tribe, to all the people that brought you there, to the future of like what this connection will mean. It's two people standing up and saying like, hey, I found my person, you know, like there's 8 billion people in the world and I found mine, you know, like, and what a worthy of celebration thing that is. Like what could be more worthy of celebration than that? Like you're aging, like your birthday, like you fucking age anyway. Like I found someone, like, and we love each other. And like I think weddings are amazing. Like, and not just from a future business perspective. Like I think that they're great. I think we unfortunately turn it into something that's much more like commodified and much more about, there's a tremendous pressure to perform on the wedding day that makes it more stressful than it needs to be. I understand why people would feel that way. A bride would feel that way because she's like the center of attention and, you know, there's a lot of eyes on her and you want it to be kind of perfect. But I think it's just perfect anyway. Like it's always perfect, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think weddings are a great opportunity to celebrate with all the people in your life that helped you get to where you're at. And I've said before that I think if the first time you have everybody who loves you in a room celebrating you as your funeral, you're an idiot. Like I think a wedding is a great opportunity to like stand up and celebrate your connection to your family. So I applaud cultures that make a big deal out of weddings. Like, I think it's a great thing to make a big deal out of a wedding. Like, but there's nothing more worthy of celebration than love. And I think that a wedding is supposed to be a celebration of two people's love. All like the trappings of a wedding and the traditions of a wedding, like those are cultural, and some of them don't make any sense. Like you can ask the most feminist woman in the world, like, are you going to have your dad give you away? And they're like, oh yeah. And it's like, really, like you're property of your father, and then he's going to give you to the man who now owns you. Like, you realize how fucking sexist and crazy that symbolic thing is. But like, it's, it's traditions, and people do some things that it's like, yeah, we do this because we do this. Like, if we look too deeply into the meaning of it, you're right, it has some really outdated stuff attached to it. But, it's a thing you do. So I think that's okay. Like, that's a decision people should make as an individual couple. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and shit on weddings. I think that I've yet to go to a wedding that I didn't get misty-eyed at. I think that I'm just cheering for them.
I think the reason I asked the way it did is because I've heard you talk about the wedding industrial complex.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, weddings are business. I mean, like, just because something's a business doesn't mean it's like, a bad thing. But, like, people sometimes say to me, they're like, oh, you make your money off divorce. You make your money off people's misery. I'm like, okay, I have a friend who's a pediatric oncologist. Are you saying that he like makes money off of kids with cancer? Like, yeah, technically. You think he's cheering for cancer? Like, you think I'm cheering for divorce? You think I'm like walking around bars saying to people like, hey, you could do better. You want me to help you out? Like, I don't make it rain. I sell a fucking umbrella. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not cheering for divorce. Like, I'm actually cheering. Like, I wrote a book about staying together. Like, I'm a big fan of love and romance, but people don't need any help falling apart. Like, they're falling apart without my help. Like, despite my best efforts, they're falling apart.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, I think the wedding industrial complex, we're just selling people all of this additional stuff and turning something that could be a really lovely celebration into something much bigger. Like, it doesn't, like, too far south is north. Like, I'm not against cars. Like, I think it's great to have a car. It'll get you from point A to point B, and it's nice to have a car that you're comfortable in. But like, do I think you should spend $500,000 on a car? That seems insane to me. Like, same thing with weddings. Like, should you celebrate your wedding? Of course. Like, should you put yourself into debt or your family into debt for a wedding? No, that's not a great way to start a relationship with a tremendous amount of financial strain. That's not a great idea. Should you want to look beautiful on your wedding day and have the experience be beautiful and enjoyable for people and to have the photos look nice? Of course. Should you want that so bad that you don't have any fun at your own wedding and you're incredibly stressed? I don't think so. Should you you're in a relationship and your boyfriend's coming over. Should you want to look pretty for your boyfriend? Oh, of course, I would hope so. Like, would you hope that he would want to like shower and look nice for you? Of course. Should you be incredibly stressed and you should like, like really be nervous? No, for God's sakes, no. Like, so it's the same thing with the wedding industrial complex is just trying to convince people that to have a good marriage, you have to have a good wedding, and to have a good wedding, you have to have all of this shit. And I just don't think that's true. And they're also very into like, feeding people into this belief that like, oh, this is going to last a lifetime. And statistically, it's not. Statistically, most marriages are going to end in divorce.
Which brings me to my next question, because I've heard you refer to marriage as a technology, an antiquated technology.
I don't know that I refer to it as an antiquated technology, but I do refer to it as a technology.
Okay.
It's a technology that may not make as much sense as it used to.
Okay. So that's the question.
Yeah.
Is if you could come up with a better technology, knowing everything that you know, what would it be?
I don't think I would change the fundamental construct of marriage, which is a pair bond between two people with the intention of living their life as a unit. And if they're going to have offspring or pets or whatever it might be, that they would share in the responsibilities associated with that. So I don't think I would change that at all. Would I put the state in charge of it? No. Would I encourage people to understand better the structure of what it is that they're agreeing to and the potential risks associated with it? Yes. Like, I don't think that acknowledging that someday you're going to die means you don't care about life. I don't think that acknowledging that someday you're going to get sick means that you don't care about good health. I don't think that buying life insurance means that you want to live your life in a more risky way. I don't think that acknowledging that most relationships end unhappily in either divorce or like unhappily staying together for the benefit of the kids or because you don't want to give away half your stuff is to deny the deep power of love and the value of trying to find a pair bond with another person. I think there should be premarital education. I think people should understand the contract they're signing up for. Like, you're not just moving in with another person and potentially starting a family with them. You're doing a whole bunch of things legally when you get married that are complicated to undo and that most people don't understand and have never explained to them. And the truth is we don't really care that much about the legal status of marriage. Like, we just don't. Like, you've been to weddings. How many times at the end of the wedding have you said, this was a great time. Can I see the marriage license? I just want to confirm that you were in fact legally married.
By the way, a lot of people are getting married like spiritually and
and they don't have a wedding. Like, they have a wedding, but they don't have a legal marriage.
What do you think of that?
I think there's value in it. I think it's the same thing as like getting married with a prenup. I think every marriage has a prenup. It's either one that's written by the government or it's one that's written by the two people that claim to love each other more than the other 8 billion other options.
Yeah.
So I think every single marriage has a prenup. The question is, who's going to author it? Is it going to be the state legislature of the state in which you reside at the time you divorce, which can be changed any time without your control? Or is it something that you and your partner craft together? I started a business, trustedprenup.com, about a year ago with the intention of democratizing prenups because you want to talk about the wedding industrial complex. The prenup industrial complex was a real thing. Like, I have colleagues that will, depending on what a person puts on the intake sheet as their income, will quote a different price for the prenup. Wow. Like, I can draft 4 prenups in an hour, depending on the complexity of the issues presented. And most of the time, people don't need terribly complex prenups.
Yeah.
But, if you can make a bunch of money on something, sure. So I decided that, why don't we democratize this? Why don't we leverage technology in a way that we can ask some very simple questions of a person about the nature of their relationship and what rights they want to bind and what rights they want to leave open to the state. And then people can just literally create a prenup that works just for them using the same models that I do for billionaire clients. And they can do it for under $1,000. Like, that to me, everybody should be doing that. Like, and I don't say that just because of me. Like, everybody should be getting a prenup. Why wouldn't, it's your relationship. Why wouldn't it be your rules? Why wouldn't you want to have a conversation with this person that you're about to settle down with about, hey, what do we owe each other? If we split up, what does that look like? Like, if I make certain sacrifices for the benefit of this relationship, what security do I have so I can feel safe in this relationship? Because if I'm in a relationship with you, I want you to feel safe from everything, including me. And I want you to feel like I have your best interests at heart and that you don't have to, I don't want you to be, it's the same thing I said about monogamy. I don't want you to not have sex with other men because we have a rule in place. I want it to be that you're satisfied with me as your partner. I don't want you to lay your head on the bed next to me because you're not going to have as much money otherwise, or because you're afraid to get divorced. I want you to lay your head on the bed next to me because you want to be with me. Your life is better with me than it would be without me. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Like, why wouldn't you want to feel that connection with another person and to know that that's what it comes from? And one of the only ways to do that is for a person to feel safe. Both people to feel safe, by the way. Like, I don't want to be afraid that the only reason why you're with me is economics.
You've changed my perspective on prenups entirely.
Yes.
I used to be like, oh my God, it would be so offensive for a guy to even ask. And then when I heard you talk about it the way that you did, I thought, you know what? I will only marry someone who will have this conversation with me. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, you could actually negotiate a prenup in a way 100%. That is more advantageous to you than the government makes it.
100%.
And that's what I think people...
And that's what people should do.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what that conversation is. Because what is that conversation? What do we owe each other? What do we mean to each other? What will we give up for each other? Like, I have a unique view on some things, if you haven't figured that out. But one of the things that I have a unique view on is I'm I'm not interested in what people want. Like, everybody wants to have a good body. Everybody wants to have a good relationship. What are you willing to suffer for? That's what I want to know. Like, because if you want to have a good body, you got to eat healthy and go to the gym. Are you willing to suffer? Like, are you willing to get up and go to, like, I got up this morning at 4 a.m. and went to the gym for an hour. And then I had a smoothie, like, okay, so I'm willing to suffer for something, right? Something I want more than what I want right now. What I want right now is chocolate cake. But what I want more is vibrant, good health, right? So I'm going to trade what I want now for what I want most. And that's what marriage is supposed to be in some ways. Like, yeah, we might, maybe novelty, maybe all this, but I want depth of connection. That's what I want. That's what I want most. Okay. So if that's what I want most, what are you willing to suffer for? So to me, like, what are you afraid of in this relationship? Well, I'm afraid that I'm going to give you like the best years of my life, that I'm going to focus on you and your happiness and being a supportive other to you. And then I'm going to the detriment of my own career, I'm going to have been your supportive other. And then you're going to trade me in for a younger model. That's what a lot of women say to me when I'm doing their prenups, right? So that's a perfectly legitimate thing to be afraid of. There are so many examples of that happening. Just like a man would say, because I represent lots of them, I'm afraid that we're going to be together and you're going to take half my stuff and leave and just take up with a younger guy or a more interesting, successful guy who's not at work all the time. And you're just going to take half my shit and go. Okay. Very valid, very fair. How can we make each other feel safe? Let's talk about that. It's a worthwhile conversation to have. First of all, do you think I would do that to you? Do I think that you would do that to me? Is there something we're doing that would make the other feel that way? Or is it just we're saying, listen, I really don't think that would happen, but God, who the hell knows? Like, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Like, shit happens that no one saw coming. Okay, so I'm afraid that this thing could happen. So how can I make you feel safe? And how can you make me feel safe? And how can we come to some compromise on that? That's a very valuable muscle to have if you're going to be in a relationship.
Last question. Because I could just go on and on with you.
Me too.
It's scary.
I'm having fun.
Okay. I asked this question on every single podcast. And the reason I ask it is because I feel like people have so many messages that they want to share, but it's hard to prioritize which one is most important and which one they feel like most urgently needs to be shared.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I created a hypothetical scenario to help narrow it down. Okay. So here's the hypothetical scenario.
Let's go.
You're at the Oscars. You're nominated for Best Documentary about marriage and divorce. Okay. They announce the nominees, call out everyone's names. Finally, it gets silent. They announce the winner, and it's you. And you walk up to the stage, and you thank everyone you need to thank. Your mom, your dad, your kids, your ex-wife, your girlfriend, if you have one, everyone. And there's about a 45-second to 1 minute window where you can say whatever you want. It's going to go viral. There are going to be headlines. People are going to be watching it 10 years from now. Just like one of those Matthew McConaughey speeches that just people play it on a loop.
Sure.
What message is so important to you that you would share it in that 45 seconds to a minute?
I think some of it I've already said in this conversation. I think I would say that, I think all of us in this moment are feeling very disconnected from ourselves and from each other, but that the only thing that really matters in the world is real connection, and that all of the answers we're looking for are here and we can find them together if we're brave, and that the hard thing to do and the right thing to do are the same thing. That's it. Like, literally, that's it. Like, I've always said to my sons, like, I have a lot to say, but the only really important wisdom I have to give to you is that the hard thing to do and the right thing to do are almost always the same thing. Like, in almost every situation in your life, when you're confronted with a choice, the hard thing to do is probably the right thing to do. Like, and I think that's the only nugget of wisdom that I really have to offer anybody. Is everything else is just sort of like different trappings of that and different versions of that and different iterations of that. But like, that's the truth. Like, the truth is, like, just do the hard thing. Like, it's it's harder to hold a door open than to slam it shut. Like it's harder to be open than it is to be closed. It's harder to deny what you're feeling than to feel what you're really feeling. It's harder to be kind and open than it is to be angry and closed. Like it's harder to leave yourself vulnerable to pain, than it is to be open and connected. Like just anytime you're confronted by something, just stop and say, what's the hard thing to do here? And that's probably the right thing to do. Like say the thing that you're afraid to say, do the thing you might be afraid to do, like confront the thing that you're afraid to feel. I think that's really it. I think that's the only wisdom that I have to offer. And it's wisdom that was taught to me in part by people smarter than me and in part by like experience, life experience. And I really believe there's an answer and a way out of the moment we're in right now. Like I think there's tremendous comfort to be found in the fact that we're all flailing a little bit. And I think that I have the unique vantage point of helping people navigate one of the most profound losses and betrayals and difficult transitions that they'll ever experience in their entire life. And it's taught me a lot about the ways people are capable of hurting each other, but it's taught me way more about how much beauty and hope is on the other side of pain. And I've seen so many people just broken. They come to me and their life is just destroyed. Like everything they thought was safe is gone. Like the rock they built their life on is not the ground they thought it would be. Like, and they don't know who they are anymore. They were someone's wife. They were someone's husband. They were a mom. They were a dad. That's what they were. And now they're not going to be that anymore because they made a mistake or because the other person doesn't want to be with them, whatever it might be. And you jump ahead 5 years and like they're living a whole different life. Like, and it's something they could have never imagined it would be. Like, and I have such hope because of that. Like I have genuine hope because of that. I am eternally optimistic, and it's not a naive optimism. It really is that like, this is a marvelous, terrifying, all too brief life. And like, I just think we have such an opportunity to like all do it together if we can just be honest with ourselves and each other.
Wow. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thanks, James.
I don't think it'll go as
Sexton.
viral as Matthew McConaughey, but I'll take it.
We don't know.
It was great to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you so much for doing this.
It was a blast.